Yeah, you are. It's your turn.
No, it's not. You've just given me the notes.
How is this any different when I used to hand you the notes beforehand?
Because it's electronic.
Well, I'm not doing it anyway. I'll tell you that much.
I'm just going to say it's
fine. I'll do it.
These notes have been available since the last podcast. And
No, they have
yes,
not.
they have. It's the same document. All I do is edit it.
Bollocks.
You're supposed to...
I've got time to do that.
It's just turned into a full-time job.
That we don't get paid for.
I don't get paid for
Oh,
I'm going to tell everyone.
That's actually really funny.
Yeah, that was really good.
That's almost like we practiced that.
No, it's making me sad.
Welcome to ScreenHog Podcast Episode 7, which I've come up with a name for, and as I'm hosting it, that's what it's going to be called.
Yeah, that's fine.
What, episode 7?
ScreenHog Squarepants.
Yeah, I like it.
Thanks. So with us as usual is Alex.
As usual.
And Simon.
I'm also here.
And me. I'm here.
That's
As
Paul.
you can tell by my voice.
The posh voice.
With the posh voice. Welcome back, gentlemen. It's been just over 2 weeks. We're getting back on track.
Yeah.
How is everyone?
I'm alright, yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
It's been a nice, easy day.
Yeah.
No, it hasn't.
Mine hasn't. I've forgotten what the outside looks like, to be honest. Should we get straight in then? None of this dilly.
No, I have not ordered these. So if you feel that there's an order emerging as we progress, I'd go for it.
I will segue my ass off.
Yeah, we should
want
have
to
like a
explain that
roulette.
joke?
Like on Have I Got News for You, when they have like the roulette of news.
Yep,
We should have done that.
Whatever. So the joke was obviously we all got our pay slips today, and Alex, you haven't been paid.
No.
Back pay for the pay that you should have had.
I got back paid tax.
Oh, okay.
So I've been paid about £60 for the month. Yes.
So, sorry.
It's not funny.
The tax that they were going to tax you,
Yes.
you got that back.
Yes, like benefits.
Because you didn't earn anything this month, you've had some tax back.
Yes.
So are you going to have to pay that tax back
Yeah,
when you get
probably.
actually paid?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, that's quite funny. And it was a good joke, and that was
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, as far as ad libbing goes, Alex, for you that was quite.
We only practiced the
for me.
first bit as well. The actual funny bit was.
I thought we were
completely.
going to pretend that we not practiced.
Ruined
any
it
of
now.
Can you edit that bit out?
No, it's
Can you edit out me asking if we can edit it out? Because otherwise, it's going to sound like this doesn't flow naturally as pure comedy.
I'll probably just leave it into it.
Comedic gold.
You know that when I edit stuff, I only the only bits I take out is like when there's like a noise
or a massive pause where we're all just looking at each other waiting for someone to say something.
Yeah, the podcast actually is about 3 hours long, and then I just by cutting the pauses out gets it to 1 hour.
It's just us sat here in silence for 2 hours.
Silence.
Silence! Come on, get into it, Paul.
Okay,
That would have been a
so
pause.
news.
Shouted silence.
That's irony. So news. This first one, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Should I say what it is?
Let's get
Everyone else can read an electronic version of the notes.
What I should do is I'll just share this document with everyone.
And they can
And
make their own podcast up.
No, you just have to follow it as you just have to look at the sheet as we talk.
As we
about
talk,
it.
without actually saying what it is we're talking about. So, a sequel to a film that I thoroughly enjoyed.
We
Yes.
all thoroughly enjoyed it.
Okay,
brilliant
I know a
film.
few people who didn't enjoy it.
I know
Right.
David.
Well, let's not even go there. So, Pacific Rim 2 released. Is this an American release date, Simon? Can I clarify?
I
Is
think
this the 4th of August or is this the 8th of April?
I think it's the 4th of August.
So the 4th of August 2017.
But is that released
Or
in America?
8th of April 2017.
It just has a tentative release date because it's so far away. They don't have a specific.
We'll still get it 2 months after that.
Well, we've been getting blockbusters early these days.
Yeah, some of.
We got
normally
Avengers
normally
like.
the
Avengers
Marvel
was a good
films
one.
early, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, Marvel films. At the start of the year, we got a lot quite late.
Not blockbustery ones though.
Yeah, things like American Sniper we got quite late.
I wouldn't say it's a block. I'm on about like actiony,
Whiplash,
popcorn
Birdman.
movies. None of them I see as they're all dramas. They're all Oscar
They're all
based.
Oscar-winning movies.
You can't compare American Sniper as a blockbuster to Pacific Rim as a blockbuster.
True. Okay.
Was Pacific Rim actually a blockbuster? Did it do well at the cinema?
It
Yeah,
did. Yeah, it did really well. Well, domestically in America, it didn't do very well.
Right.
Overseas, it did very well.
Is that because audiences are more intelligent and?
we just like films more, I think.
Okay.
And then I think it did really well in.
Sorry,
China?
that was a real
Japan.
insult. I do
No, because they
apologise.
thought it would do well in Japan, I think,
sorry.
and it didn't. Because they love like that sort of monster movie over there. It's basically a Japanese movie.
Is it because they look like real monsters and not men in costumes?
Possibly.
destroying
it also
cardboard
didn't
cities.
did it have any Japanese people in it?
Yeah, I reckon. Surely
But
when he went...
it
It's
did-
apart from the main character.
The money it didn't make in Japan.
And that whole squad of like that Japanese three-armed robot.
Oh, I forgot. No, they're Chinese.
Oh, are they? Oh, sorry.
Were they?
Yeah, they're Chinese.
Okay.
She was definitely Japanese, but the robot was Chinese.
It was, yeah.
Chinese audiences loved it because most of it's set in Hong Kong.
Oh, okay.
So it made enough money to warrant a sequel anyway.
So, do we know what the general plot is, or is that
I'm
all we've
going to
got
put money
this day?
on. There's some giant robots, and they're going to fight some giant monsters.
But where are the
That's
giant
probably
monsters coming from?
Who cares?
Close
I
that
think
lift thing.
I think it's going to be in the Pacific again because I thought they would make Atlantic Rim,
Yeah.
but I looked it up and there's already an Atlantic Rim movie.
Is it a porn parody?
No, it's just one. You know that company that makes really bad.
Remakes of things like
Yeah.
Predators.
Yeah, well, no, Predators is a real film. It is really bad, but it's a real film. It's like the people who made Transmorphers and Snakes on a Train.
Yeah. Okay.
They're the two that I've seen.
I'd watch the shit out of Snakes on a Train.
Snakes on a Train. Have you seen it?
No.
Right, I was going to spoil the ending, but
Go for it.
a giant snake eats the entire train at the end. It's voodoo snakes, not just snakes. Cursed snakes.
I'm going on right now to watch that.
But it's that company, I think, and they've already made Atlantic Rim.
So, okay.
So I think it's going to be the same thing again, but it's set in. I think it's set further in the future, so they don't have to use any of the same characters.
Oh, okay.
Because they can't afford them.
They can't afford Charlie Hunnam and that dodgy Australian guy who's off EastEnders.
And, what's his name from Thor?
Well, he's dead though, so he's
Chris
fine.
Hemsworth.
No, he didn't die.
Idris Elba.
Oh, he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Idris
So does the
Elba's not
Australian guy.
Oh yeah, died in Pacific Rim.
Yeah, he didn't die in Thor.
I was going to say, no, I'm sure he was just in the Avengers film.
Yeah, but he was in the
Yeah, but that
Avengers
was a
film.
flashback.
It was a flash
That
forward.
was like a dream thing.
It was a flash forward to Ragnarok with
Yeah.
everyone being dead.
That wasn't really him.
Yes, I know it wasn't really Idris Elba.
It was really Idris
It was
Elba.
really Idris Elba, but
He
it
was
wasn't.
acting as-
He was in Thor's vision.
Yes.
It wasn't really.
Not as Idris Elba.
No, but he was in
No,
Thor's.
but-
He was playing in
You
character.
can't say that he must be alive because he was in a vision.
He could have been dead
He
and
could have
still
been
been in
dead
that vision.
and been in that vision.
He could have died in the second Thor and still.
No, I'm talking
Gentile.
about actually Idris Elba dying.
No, he's not dead.
No,
I know
he's definitely
not
not dead.
That's what it sounded like. That's why I was shocked.
Shut up.
Idris Elba is not dead.
We know.
Okay, I would just like to say, segue nicely into something that we may have talked about before, our death list,
Yeah.
because
But
BB King is dead.
yes,
But we have been making up rules as to why he should be disqualified.
Yes. Because we don't like it that he won.
can I
But you
just?
can still be
Oh,
trumped
no. I can still be trumped.
if someone gets all three.
What happens if I get all three?
Then you Uber win.
No, then it's a double positive. You negate.
You negate your first win
Yeah.
with your second win, and you end up having to buy everyone drinks.
Well, I've already
And then
done
there'll
it
be
in my
a
first
three-legged-
win because apparently I cheated. When really I just did some research.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
the
no
rest
one
of
else
us
did research.
Whose fault is that?
No, because that wasn't in the spirit of the game.
The spirit of the game is to win.
No, the spirit of the game was to just pick three people you thought were going to die.
I did.
Because we looked at
Based
the
on
list.
solid research.
We looked up the list afterwards, and then I was like, "Oh, that would have been really good. I wish I'd picked him."
Yeah.
But then I didn't put him down.
No.
It's besides the point. I've transferred my win to whoever comes second.
Good.
Okay, anyway.
Unless it's
so
me.
segueing nicely again into dead people, you've mentioned Fast and Furious 7.
I have, yes.
Um,
We talked about last week about the box office. And
Yeah.
that's what I want to talk about here because it is officially not accounting for inflation, but it is officially the fourth highest grossing movie of all time.
okay.
Avatar, Titanic, Avengers 1,
I think so.
and then Fast and Furious 7. That is possibly the most ridiculous movie fact that I've ever heard.
What happened to Age of Ultron? Because that was hyped to shit.
I think everyone saw it.
Everyone saw it, but it didn't actually get that much money, did it?
No, it got
It didn't
a
break any
massive
records.
opening weekend. It didn't
Everyone-
break any records.
Everyone thought it was going to break records. It didn't.
I didn't think it would break box office. I didn't think it would break all like full box office records. I thought it might top a weekend record or two, but it didn't even do that. But we all know that it's on a subpar level to like some of the other Marvel films.
Oh yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
not going to sustain what it got and what it got. I think it must have done better than Iron Man 3 did it on the weekend box office.
I need to research that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a lot of money, and it just shows you that despite the fact that they clearly wrapped it up, and we had predicted a sequel, they must be doing one.
Well, do you think Dwayne The Rock Johnson will return?
I'm not sure if he'll return because they're starting to band around the Agent Hobbs spin-off movie. I've been hearing a lot of rumours
Which
about.
was Kurt Russell, was that him?
No, he's Mr. White.
Oh, okay, sorry. He's going to have his own movie?
Yeah.
What?
He's going to drive ambulances.
Has no one seen the
Bridges.
Scorpion
Into
King?
drones.
he doesn't deserve a standalone movie.
What about San Andreas?
Paul's
He's
face
got
looks
that.
like it's melting. Yeah, we got tickets for San Andreas. I'm super stoked about that.
See, I like disaster movies, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna adore that anyway.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you get a ticket for that, by the way?
Yes, I did.
Oh, good.
I've got R2. I'm gonna go down to D2 and introduce myself.
Oh yeah, sorry, that's right.
It's alright. It's just a shit.
Are you any closer, Alex?
If you've still not got a ticket, R1's spare and Elaine's not booking it. She said she's not going.
So I just booked tickets.
Are you any closer, Alex?
To what?
To the box office stats for
Yes,
Avengers:
sorry.
Age of Ultron,
Yes, I am. He's 8th.
all time.
All time. Behind Iron Man 3,
Yeah,
Frozen, Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 2,
yeah.
Furious 7, Avengers, Titanic and Avatar.
Well, the only one I think it ought to beat is Iron Man 3. All the films above it were pioneering films for their sort of genre almost.
Well, if you look what's underneath it, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King,
Yeah, so it's
Skyfall.
done pretty well.
Dark Knight Rises.
What I want to know is the weekend box office, opening weekend box office.
What, for Avengers Age of Ultron?
Yeah. If you get an all-time list of that up, because I'd like to. I know.
All-time opening weekends.
Yeah, if you go on Box Office Mojo, they've actually got an weekends chart.
Right.
Because Iron Man 3 did spectacularly well, and I don't understand why. Because I don't know why anyone was excited about it in particular. It was the first post-Avengers movie.
Do you think it's just the fact that people who probably hadn't watched any of the Phase 1 films went and saw Avengers and were then interested in comic book movies after that?
That is the only thing I can think of. Because I was excited more than other people I knew because Shane Black was writing and directing it, and he collaborated with Downey Jr. on Kiss Kiss Bang Bang,
Right.
which is my favourite film. It's the dialogue's so witty. That's why I was really excited for it, but I don't understand, other than what you've just said, why it would have done better. Especially considering like the mediocre response to Iron Man 2. Alex, are you any closer?
Yes, Simon. I have the list right here. What would you like to know?
Right, just list off, like, throw off the top 5.
Top 5. Number 1, The Avengers. Number 2,
Okay.
Avengers Age of Ultron.
All right, there you go then.
3, Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
4, Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 2. And 5, The Dark Knight Rises.
So Fast isn't in the
It's not
best
in the
opening
top weekend.
weekends.
It's number 10.
You know what that is though, because with all the other ones, it's like either concluding a story in the way of Harry Potter
And Batman.
but it's also comic booky, like heavily spoilerific.
Right.
That's why I think those films tend to do better immediately.
Oh, because people want to see it before someone
Yeah.
comes out.
The
And
more hype there is,
Yeah.
the more people want to see it. So they go opening weekend. But the better it is, word of mouth goes out. And, you've got to go see this film, you've got to go see this film. And people keep going
So
to
how
see
the
it.
hell did Fast 7 get that popular then? Because it's a pile of wank.
It was awesome.
It's not. What Fast and Furious 7 is, it appeals to the widest demographic of any film I've ever seen.
Right.
And it probably didn't increase in the way that you were just talking about. It probably opened at that level and then stayed at that level for it to run.
Right.
And that's why it's number 4 overall, but only 10th in the weekend. That's what I think's happened. Because this Fast and Furious 7, the people that go and see that, they probably haven't been to the cinema since the last one.
Okay.
Maybe, or they were the people that walked out of Inherent Vice because they thought it was a film, like a different film, and the cinema straight away. So they'd be like, "Oh, Fast and Furious 7's out. Oh, we'll wait until it's convenient for us rather than us,
Yeah. Okay.
where we have to go and see everything because we'll miss it."
Yeah.
The thing is, it's a safe bet as well.
Yeah.
Anyone going to see Fast and the Furious 7 knew what they were going to get.
Apart from Paul, who'd never seen one before.
I pretty much knew what I was going to get from
Yeah.
seeing the trailer.
Alright, yeah.
Even then. But
yeah.
not everyone's as lucky as us and has unlimited cards and can
Yeah.
go whenever they want and see as much as they want. You know, when you're spending 15 quid on a ticket or however much
Yeah, it is a
costs,
safe bet because
it's
you
a
know what
safe
you're
bet,
getting.
yeah. You know
You're not
what
going to
you're
take a risk on Far for the Madding Crowd
No.
when,
Or Inherent Vice.
or Inherent Vice when there's a Fast and Furious 7 out. We've talked about similar things to this, but I don't think we've touched on this part of it before.
Okay.
Paul, can I segue one, please?
Yeah, go for
Because just while we're talking about box office,
it.
have I got Mad Max on the list?
No.
I went to add it today, but I forgot, obviously. Because the Mad Max opening box office made $110 million.
Right.
and the film
that
only
good?
cost compared to the £150 million budget it had, it's amazing.
£150 million.
I think we can talk about
budget.
that later because we've all seen it.
In its opening weekend, it nearly made what it cost to make.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's really good.
And I think people are raving about it so much, more people will probably take a punt and go and see it.
I completely agree as well. I think this is going to go up. I wouldn't be surprised if this breaks 500 mil by the end of the
Well, I'm
film.
going to go see it again at the weekend.
I want to go see it again. I thought it was brilliant, and it's definitely one I'm going to pick up on Blu-ray on opening day.
I'm going to see it at the weekend in 2D.
Yeah, see what the difference is.
Yes. Because a
I
lot of
don't
time
think it relied on the 3D.
It didn't rely on the 3D. The IMAX was good
I've
because
read-
of like the sprawling vista shots.
Yeah, but I've read things that say 3D actually takes away from it.
I think it probably does.
If you
Like
watch
that.
it in 2D, the landscapes and stuff in it are absolutely beautiful.
I wish we could have seen. Well, my favourite format is IMAX 2D for anything. I wish we'd seen it like that.
Yeah.
Sadly, the only film I've actually been able to see in that is Interstellar. And that's because it didn't come out on IMAX 3D.
Yeah, I think you're probably right as
Yeah,
well.
because we've only got one IMAX screen, and if there's a 3D version of it, they'll show that, won't
They'll
they?
always show the 3D film.
Because it costs more.
18 quid, isn't it? Like Jurassic World, we just booked tickets for IMAX 3D. But to go back, yeah. So this is another R-rated movie that's doing really well, and we've had 3 sequels confirmed for this film. But yeah, the next Mad Max film, he's obviously got a script for it already, and they've confirmed that they're going to make it. So I think they're ramping up pre-production.
Is this script like 2 pages?
The script for this one would have been quite long. It just had no dialogue in it.
So I mean, Mad Max
Yeah,
script is 2
imagine
pages.
like learning your lines. I'm Max.
It's as hard as Vin Diesel in Guardians of the Galaxy.
At least he learned that in different languages.
And he had to like
Emote.
So he learned it in every language the film was in, and did different tones for every single language.
So moving swiftly on, cinematographer who's going to be working on Independence Day 2 was the guy behind It Follows, which we all really liked the cinematography on. It was about the only thing we liked in It Follows.
And the
The
soundtrack.
soundtrack was
Yeah,
excellent.
okay.
The score was
Excellent.
great.
It's one of my favourites this year.
I think this could make it look really good, and it would probably give it the edge it needs, because I went back and watched 2012 by Roland Emmerich at the weekend.
Right.
It's a very well paced film. It's one of the best paced films that I've watched, but special effects are used in it. The cinematography is atrocious, and if they're going to do a similar thing, they're going to need someone like this to make it like look presentable again.
Okay.
Because 2012 did look awful.
It looked awful at the time. I remember there's a scene where
It looks even worse
it
now.
looks terrible now. It looks awful. But you go back and watch Independence Day. You are?
I love 2012.
No, I love it. It's great. I thoroughly enjoyed myself, but the special effects are awful.
You see when the volcano erupts, they could have done so much better with it.
Okay.
In the cinema, I didn't
Yeah.
notice that one as much, because the whole cinema had gone completely silent when that erupted, and it was just such an impressive moment. I don't think anyone noticed how bad it was, but there was not a moment when I watched it on Blu-ray at the weekend when I thought, those CG, that looks really good. There wasn't even a "that looks passable" comment to be made. Everything looks atrocious, and even some of the bits where they're on a set, it looks like it's made for TV movie.
Okay.
And I'm like, that would have been one of my concerns. But if they get this guy in, hopefully he can, make it look all the way through.
True.
It had a very good feel to it.
It had a great feel to it. It's a shame that like the feeling was, it's like being in the friend zone. You get that feeling, but no one else does.
So, maintaining our cinematography link here,
The only reason I mentioned it was so that you would do the segue this time.
Roger Deakins, cinematographer on Blade Runner sequel, directed by Denis Villeneuve.
Right. Yeah.
Is he in relation to Formula 1 driver Jacques Villeneuve?
I think he might be. I think I looked it up a while back, and I think it's like his second cousin or something.
Oh, really?
Well, they're Canadian. And I think pretty much everyone in Canada is related to or knows someone else.
Every other Canadian.
Unless Due South lied to me, everyone in Canada knows everyone else.
So let me just pull this up here. Denis Villeneuve. We'll do the director first, because I didn't know that this was the guy directing it. So I didn't know he was directing it until I read this news story, because I assumed it was still Ridley Scott.
Right.
Because everyone said he was. So Denis Villeneuve is the guy that directed Prisoners.
Ooh.
Yeah. He was the cinematographer, I believe, on Skyfall, which has very good cinematography.
I've seen
Listen to this guy's list, right?
Okay.
I'm just going to read, and I said that reading that list is boring on this website, on this podcast, but you'll appreciate why I'm reading this list out. This is the cinematography. This is all the films that he's done in the order he's done them.
Okay.
Right? He's done 76 films. I'm not going to read them all out. Unbroken. The year before that, he did Prisoners with Denis Villeneuve. The year before that, he did Skyfall. Then he did In Time, which is a very good cinematography film. True Grit, A Serious Man, Revolutionary Road, The Reader, In the Valley of Elah, No Country for Old Men, The Assassination of Jesse James, Jarhead, The Village, Oh Brother Where Art Thou, The Big Lebowski,
Okay.
Fargo, 1996.
So he's worked with the Coens a few times.
Yeah. Shawshank Redemption. He did Barton Fink, which is another Coen Brothers one, but I think that's like the last of the really well received ones on the list. But
That's still a hell of a lot.
he's the best cinematographer working in terms of consistency. Never won an Oscar, been nominated 11 times. I think he's got the record for nominations that will win.
What about the guy who did Interstellar?
He's Mexican, isn't he? With because he's the one that did. No, I'm thinking something else.
Because he's only just started, but he's done 2 or 3 things.
No idea.
Not
They're
sure.
all very good, if I remember right.
Well, that's fine.
That's fine.
Well, we
can
got
just cut it out.
That's pretty much what we do.
Yeah.
I've noticed.
We
So,
actually know nothing about
if-
films.
Well,
I don't know anything about Blade Runner 2, to be honest, apart from who's doing the cinematography and who's directing it now. I don't know anything about it. Ridley Scott's still on as producer. Now, you haven't seen Prisoners, Paul.
No, forget it.
It's about these 2 little girls that get kidnapped.
Right.
Is it 2?
Is that important?
1.
It's just 1. It's
No.
Hugh Jackman's kid.
There is 2 of them, but one of them turns up, I think.
Right. And Hugh Jackman doesn't know who's kidnapped them.
Okay.
And he's the dad, sorry.
Right.
So he's like, there's Jake Gyllenhaal's the policeman investigating it. Hugh Jackman's doing his own sort of investigation on the side.
Okay.
But then he kidnaps the person he thinks did it,
Right.
and he's holding him prisoner. And then it's a whole like tense drama between the 4 different parties.
Okay.
And it's very, very good looking film.
Okay.
And I think that between the director and the cinematographer here, even if it's crap, like it always was, it'll still look like one of the best. And I'm very excited because every time Roger Deakins gets attached to a project, I get excited.
I'm intrigued, but I wasn't a fan of Blade Runner, to be honest. I didn't like it.
I liked everything about it other than the plot.
Yeah, I found it really boring.
It's boring. It's terribly boring.
It looked nice, but everyone rants and raves and says it's one of the best sci-fi's ever made. I was like,
It's a good book.
I'm sure it is.
I like it enough as I can see why it's a classic piece of cinema, but then there's a lot that's boring that is a classic piece of cinema. So
Space Odyssey.
yeah, it's a boring film to watch. It's an experience though, and it's all about like the style and the production more than everything. Like it's more the sum of its parts than, just by saying it's boring. Did you know that he based the dystopian Los Angeles future on Middlesbrough?
Did he?
Yeah,
No, I was not aware of that fact.
yeah. He's from the northeast.
He did a Hovis advert. I know snippets of facts.
Oh yeah.
Like just factoids.
Someone
Yeah,
also
just
pointed
got a
out,
Hovis advert,
ever since Tony Scott, his brother, died, his Ridley Scott's films have taken like a 20% hit on Rotten Tomatoes. Everyone that's come out.
Why?
Because he's not as good anymore because his brother's death affected him apparently.
Oh, okay.
When did he die?
We discussed stuff that was on Rotten Tomatoes, but we'll save that for later.
Yeah, okay.
Josh Trank leaves second Star Wars anthology film confirmed as Boba Fett centered. Who's Josh Trank?
Director.
So he's not doing it.
No, he was attached. I think he's the one that's doing the Fantastic Four movie this summer.
Okay. Do you know what else is Boba Fett centered? The Sarlacc.
Too soon.
He's not dead.
The film's going to be centered around Boba Fett.
Could make it a prequel.
It's a
Boba
prequel.
Fett?
It's obviously going to be a prequel. They're not going to start the film with him coming out of a Sarlacc's anus.
Second
Could
Star
shoot
Wars.
his way out.
Oh, sorry. Do you mean so? This isn't like Episode 8.
No,
this
it's
is
the second
the way
Star
that-
Wars anthology,
Right. Okay.
as we discussed.
As we discussed with that other one.
Yeah, which is the
okay.
first Star Wars anthology, which is also a prequel.
God. Right. Okay.
What do you all think
Moving
about
on.
that? You know what did you want to see a Boba Fett film? Are you too good for Boba Fett?
I like Boba Fett. He's one of my favourite Star Wars characters.
Are you looking forward to this then?
Well, it's the first
Okay.
I've
Right.
heard
Wait
of
on.
it.
Wait on. Without all the shit that was added in, what did Boba Fett do in Star Wars films?
He's just cool.
What did Boba Fett do in Star Wars films? In Empire, you saw him in the background standing there. Then he wheeled one. He stood around a bit, then got hit in the back and died.
He's
shit.
He's cool.
No, he did nothing.
I agree with Paul until I watched this video. And someone has, it's like a 12-minute video analysing 5 seconds of footage from Empire Strikes Back. And it's when Luke is coming in to rescue the guys from Cloud City.
Yeah.
And he's like sneaking around the corridor. And there's a moment when Luke just pulls a little switch on his gun, makes a tiny click. At that exact moment, Boba Fett's head twitches to the right because he knows he's there.
Okay.
And that's because they are setting the trap for him.
Yeah.
So he hears it and doesn't look, but then doesn't react to it again. He just walks on. And then Luke goes around the corner, and then Boba Fett reappears because he knows where Luke's going to be, and then lures him back to the carbon chamber. And it's just like, that was all part of the whole thing, and that he is pretty cool.
See?
You didn't know that though. You based your opinion.
It's reinforced my point.
I just don't. He looks cool.
Yes, he looks cool. He's got a cool shit.
Slave One's amazing.
He used to have a cool voice.
Yeah, this is the thing. A lot about him is cool, but what he actually did in the Star Wars films was wank.
Jango Fett's a lot cooler.
That's true.
He's got silver and purple armour. That's badass. He's in shit films. He's in the worst one. Is the one he's in the most.
He's the guy they clone, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Spoilers. Sorry.
Did you ever play Star Wars Bounty Hunter?
No.
It's a good game.
Hasn't that got a Fett on the front?
It's
it might not be a
Jango.
Fett. It's someone in Mandalorian armour.
It's Jango Fett.
Started to show off my fucking Star Wars knowledge, you bitches.
Do you know what a Mandalorian is?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's a type of car that was in Back to the Future.
Oh, I'm really upset. You've seen Back to the Future films?
Yes.
I'm really upset, but I found a flaw in it that I don't think many people are aware of.
Go on.
Oh, don't.
There's plenty of like issues with the film, but they all work within the film's own rule structure. The one that I found just is the biggest piece of shit ever. So in the first one, can you remember they send the dog forward in time a minute?
I'm going to go and get a drink while you explain this.
Okay.
They send the dog forward in time a minute.
No, I don't remember. I haven't seen Back to the Future in ages.
Okay, well, in the first one, they send the dog forward in time a minute to prove the time machine works. In that minute, the dog doesn't exist because he's jumped over that minute. They explicitly state he's jumped over this minute to join us in this minute. So in the second one, when Marty gets in the time machine to go forward to see his own kids, how does he have kids? Because he didn't marry anyone.
Hear that silence?
I'm not cutting that one out.
That's complete mindfuck there.
So Doc went forward in time first, saw that Marty's kids had fucked up, went back in time, picked up Marty and Jennifer, took them forward in time. There should have been no kids. There should have been wanted posters everywhere saying that Marty and his girlfriend had gone missing at the age of 17.
They wouldn't have wanted posters up after that, man.
No.
But that is the problem with time travel films.
Yeah.
There's always loopholes.
I did find an interview with Robert Zemeckis, and he said, when we sat down to start writing Back to the Future 2, we realised that immediately. And then we wanted to shoot ourselves because we'd ended the first one back and sort your kids out.
Oh.
And then we couldn't not do that at that point, so we just thought that the audience would accept it, and that's what you have to do.
The new trailer for Lego Dimensions features Christopher Lloyd and a Lego Doc Brown, which I haven't watched yet.
Can I ask what is Lego Dimensions?
Lego Dimensions is the Lego equivalent to Disney Infinity.
All right.
So you're gonna be able to buy and build Lego models and then play a Lego universe.
All right, that's a clever way of doing it. They've been looking for better ways to integrate into sort of 3D models for a while.
Okay, so the starter set will be with a Batmobile, Batman, Wild Style, and Gandalf. They've already confirmed Back to the Future, The Wizard of Oz, The Lord of the Rings, Ghostbusters, and it's going to be just like Infinity.
It's clever because it's
buy Lego, you
yeah.
build the Lego, you incorporate the Lego into the game.
Because I'm willing to bet Lego sales have probably fallen. They probably have. They've got more sets out, so they probably haven't seen a decline in profit. But I bet that sales are down. Because I'd love to buy Lego, but it's too expensive. But if I get to play it in a game after I've built it.
It's true. And
the money that Disney Infinity and Skylanders makes is crazy.
Yeah. No.
But they actually interact in other games. It's like you don't in Skylanders you buy the models and you play with them in Skylanders.
Yeah.
With Disney Amiibo, there is an Amiibo game, Well, there's a Mario, there's a Pikachu. It's all of their characters. But if you put it on the pad during different games, it'll do different things as well.
Okay.
So when you play in a Mario Party, if you get the Pikachu amiibo, it's like you can play as Pikachu in that game rather than just in one specific game. It's a much better way, but they're a video game company rather than like a developer, so it's a lot easier for them to do that. Yeah. But I'll be interested in this Lego thing. Yeah, I'll probably buy it for Libby and then watching the try and then play with it myself.
Yeah, well, we'll watch the Christopher Lloyd one later.
Yeah.
So moving on, let's see where we're going to go. John Wick 2 officially
as a kid.
Okay, damn.
Yeah.
We were hoping for spin-off movies.
It'll still. I reckon it won't be any worse. I don't think they're going to take in it. If you see what I mean.
I don't know. I think it won't be as good.
I don't think they're going to take in it though. They're not going to have a drop between Taken 1 and 2. I don't think
nothing can drop that far.
Well, Taken 2 to 3 was give it a shot.
Not even Jimmy Savile fell that far. Let's be honest.
Jesus. There's no Cards Against Humanity, Alex. You can't just drop the JS bomb.
At least it wasn't the double M.
The MMC.
So, I would have preferred it if they'd just done what we suggested and focus on a different assassin each time, but are we not going to go and see this as a result?
We will go and see it, but it just, at the end of John Wick, he'd done everything that he set out to do in the first one, and he was pretty much dead.
Yeah.
So they've wrapped it up nicely. His story was done. I can't see what reason he's going to have to do the same thing in a second film.
Because someone shoots his cat.
Goldfish.
No, I guess.
It does give me more cause for concern than I would have had. But again, I'm not surprised.
Unless
either.
it's a sort of a prequel thing. I don't think it
will
be
cheap to do that.
It would be, but is it as cheap as just trying to make another?
It's cheap by the way. I see your point. The only way it wouldn't be cheap is if they were original with it. I want to see more of the woman character. I know she's dead now, so it would have to be a prequel.
Spoilers.
But
what the hotel man?
Yeah, well, anyone. I liked.
Do you have laundry?
I like
no
Pete.
one's that good.
Is it the cop from next door?
Yeah,
he's funny.
To be honest, it was a great film. Yeah, let's be honest.
It was.
So I'm not disappointed, but I'm not over the moon.
I'm not disappointed,
I'd like
but
to see
I
it.
won't be surprised if it's not as good.
Oh, I don't think it. I think it's definitely not going to be as good. I just don't think it's going to be terrible.
No,
we shall see. It's quite a long way away yet.
Yeah.
Something else that's a long way away. Civil War.
Yes.
Martin Freeman confirmed as being cast.
Who think you're going to play?
I think he's going to play something to do with
Bilbo Baggins.
I was going to say Doctor Strange. just so him and Benedict can.
Someone said that there's definitely got to be a scene where Robert Downey Jr., Benedict Cumberbatch, and Martin Freeman are in the same room and they're making a Sherlock Holmes joke.
Yeah, I'd go with that.
Just been Jude Law just for the complete.
Just for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
He's just walking past. He's having some shawarma.
Well, they're all just sitting there, and then one of them goes, "Is that Jude Law?"
That'd be great.
So yeah, they
I think he's going to be tied to Doctor Strange. Is that just a?
He's going to be a token English person.
I think he's going to be a baddie.
I don't think he will. He's too nice. He's got too nice a face.
No, but have you seen Fargo?
No.
He's a criminally insane man in Fargo. He's like the second villain in the film.
TV series,
yeah.
Okay, no, I still haven't watched it.
So the main villain's Billy Bob Thornton, and he's like actually mental, and he's just causing chaos in different places, and he sort of sets things up and lets them play out, and he convinces Martin Freeman in episode 1 to do something really bad, and then to cover it up he does something worse, and Martin Freeman ends up almost a bigger monster than him by the end. He's a horrible character in it, but he plays someone that that when he tries to talk us out of corners, everyone kind of believes him because they can't think he's up to that.
Okay.
So I don't think he's going to be like a super villain, but I think because the whole thing's about building a prison for superheroes, I can see him as some sort of evil congressman or something.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because he puts on a good American accent as well.
Okay.
No, he'll play a British person. He'll be the Prime Minister or something like that.
Is Doctor Strange English? Because I've never.
Because I'm not a Marvel fan.
What's his first name?
Doctor.
No, because it's Stephen. Because he's
Stephen
mentioned
Strange.
in Avengers, is it?
No, it's Winter Soldier.
Yes. Yeah, where
Is
they're
he
talking about the people that are on the list.
Yeah, they're talking about people that are on the list.
Is he the one that sorted out Bucky's arm?
No, he's not in it.
I know, but
well, no, because he wasn't around in the film.
No, he's like a mystic.
Right. Okay.
There's like everyone talks about 3 types of Marvel comic. There's Marvel Galactic,
Guardians of the Galaxy.
And
Nova
Thanos and Nova. Then you've got
Silver Surfer.
the Marvel Supernatural stuff, and Stephen Strange is sort of the poster boy of that one.
Right.
And then you've got like Avengers Marvel essentially, which includes the X-Men for this argument. So they've proven the Galactic works, and now they're proving their sort of Supernatural one works, which it will.
Let's be honest.
Did you see Simon Pegg's comments about the childification of
science fiction?
Yeah.
Coming from the man who's just been in Star Trek 1 and 2.
Yeah. He actually, if you go into his blog, he's written like a 10,000 word, because I got bored reading it, sort of apology / explanation of what he meant.
Okay.
And it's just to sum up, he didn't mean it at all. He was recounting other people's opinions, and the only part of it, because he says that when you keep doing interviews over and over again, you start saying things that maybe you don't mean just because you're coming up with something new to say and you heard something and you say it. He said he realised immediately after he'd said it that he didn't really feel that way at all.
Good.
But yeah, he's more talking about the marketing of it, I think, when he starts on the parts he agrees with. So it's just like when he was talking about, I think when he signed off from that interview, he said people came out of Avengers Age of Ultron and they're like, oh, you know, Hulk fought a robot, great. They didn't have any sort of character development to discuss or anything. I mean, we do, but that's what he said in the interview. And he said that it's the marketing that they think that's all people are doing, so they market films in that manner.
Okay.
And that's even come down to some news that came today, which isn't on the list, that Paramount have told him to rewrite the Star Trek 3 script because it's too Star Trek-y.
Okay.
And they want to make it more inclusive. And he said they've ended up wanting a heist-style film set in the Star Trek world.
Okay.
Because I do actually really like Simon Pegg.
Mm-hmm.
He's all my celebrities I would like to go for a beer with.
Yeah, I bet he's a good beer drinker. Yeah, I would say go and read his blog posts because it was quite interesting.
Just sort of the whole marketing, and we were talking about Avengers thing. Have you seen any of the uproar about Black Widow merchandise?
I have, yes. Tell me.
So people are made basically like you go to Build-A-Bear Workshop and you can get a Thor teddy bear, you can get a Captain America teddy bear, you can get a Hulk teddy bear,
I've seen that.
an Iron Man teddy bear, but you can't get a Black Widow teddy bear. If you go to any of the toy shops, it's mostly the male heroes. There is no real Black Widow merchandise, and everyone's like Disney, Hasbro, Mattel, whoever. It's just like, why are you being so sexist about your merchandise? Because is it a boys' film and that's why you're making boys' toys? The Quinjet scene, you know where Black Widow falls out on the motorbike and drives off, like her key scene, it's her most action-packed scene, and the motorbike has got Captain America on it. And everyone's like, what the actual fuck? You know, you're saying that you're not being sexist about it, or
you completely changed the film to avoid having a woman in it.
It's utterly ridiculous that.
Yeah, there's quite.
You've got no leg to stand on.
It now. Yeah. No, it's quite funny. I just thought I'd mention it as we were on a sort of Avengers theme. Infinity War Parts 1 and 2 are going to be shot entirely in IMAX.
Yeah. Did we talk about this before?
I don't think so.
Did we talk about it in the bonus podcast last time?
I don't think so.
Well, you've got it on the list, boy.
Yeah, that's weird. Sorry.
If we've mentioned it before, sorry.
Yeah,
if you got to the end of the bonus speeches of the last podcast.
If you actually listened.
It's not as good as it sounds.
Why is that, Simon?
They've developed a new type of IMAX camera that films in the same resolution, I believe, but has the image quality of a normal film or something. And it's... Because have you seen the size of a normal IMAX camera?
It's the size of a house, I've heard.
I don't think it's quite... I think it's a car.
Sarcasm.
I was going to say bungalow.
Alright.
Somewhere
in between.
half a door removed.
So, but they've built a smaller one that they can use for internal shots.
Right.
Which I don't know how much better this internal IMAX camera is compared to a normal.
Isn't the whole point of an IMAX camera it's two cameras taped together basically?
Is it?
It's shot from like two separate points of view. That's how IMAX works.
Is that not how 3D works?
That's how IMAX 3D works.
Yeah.
So how does IMAX work?
Yeah, this is just normal IMAX we're talking about.
Right, ignore me then. The thing is, if it's Infinity War, is it still going to be the first one? Or is someone going to film a film before then. Infinity War's
I-
3 years away.
Yeah, I seriously doubt that any film's going to have the budget to get these. There was only 4 IMAX cameras in the world when they filmed The Dark Knight. There's probably a few more now.
Yeah.
Chris Nolan broke to filming The Dark Knight. So
Broke 2, or he kept 2 for himself.
I can't think of a film in between now. Where's he going to hide it?
In his bigger house.
In his bigger house.
In his cash fort that he got
He got into
from making the Dark Knight trilogy.
Oh.
You know that bit where the Joker's sitting on that pile of money?
That's
and he
his
says
money.
about it?
It's covering an
Chris
IMAX.
Nolan gave that money just to be used. It's a tax write-off.
What he did was that's the
He then earned
IMAX is
3 times as much getting it back in tax
the
claims.
camera's underneath it, and he's like a serial killer. He's returned to the scene of the crime. He's like, I put it on the screen. No one will think to look there.
That's it. Yeah. And if I burn all this money, I can bury the evidence. That's what happened. It's a true story. So, Infinity War, you excited?
Yes.
It's too far away for me to be excited.
It's too far away, yeah. We'll look more
New
to
Ant-Man
Civil War.
trailer.
Ant-Man trailer was class.
Yes, that was good.
I've seen it before. It looked really good in 3D, I've got to say.
I hadn't seen it before,
What did
and
you
I
think?
thought it looked pretty good. It's made me excited for the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which up until this point I hadn't.
Yeah, I'd seen the other trailer and I'd seen the...
As long as Michael
Teaser.
Douglas doesn't get his flabby ass out at any point, I'll be quite happy.
Why would you do
Behind the
that?
candelabra.
I could just imagine him getting naked to put a suit on or something.
Oh, right. What do you think of Paul Rudd then, Paul? Did you first look at him?
Yeah, he had a face.
He played Paul Rudd.
I don't know. I don't know if I've seen Paul Rudd in anything.
He must have.
You haven't. We've talked about this before.
Okay.
Have we?
Yeah. Oh, me and
No,
Paul
it-
have in private. at
Yeah,
some point.
maybe.
Because we talked about him not seeing.
People
Oh,
like
Jonah
probably
Hill.
haven't seen it.
There's Jonah Hill. He's not seen it.
Yeah, but I mean, Paul have had this discussion
Yeah,
privately.
no.
Okay.
We do go through a lot of.
Well, we're on a public
Shit
schedule.
talking.
You've actually
Because
not seen
We
Alpha.
do things that you're not invited to.
Yeah,
You've
Paul
never
does
seen
things that I'm not
Friends?
invited to.
No.
You've never seen Friends?
Well, probably about 3 episodes.
He was only in like
There was one
7.
with a duck in.
he was in loads. I think he was married
He
to
was-
Phoebe.
There was one where
When he
Joey
actually gets married to
did
her, he's like in
something
one more
stupid.
episode.
What?
I'm just naming the Friends episode I've seen.
Oh.
That would have been after series 3, because if you watch series 1 and 2, Joey's not that stupid.
Yeah, no, Joey definitely did something stupid.
They all become
on a film
caricatures
set
of themselves
or a TV
by
set
season
or something.
10.
And Ross had some bumbling date and ended up still pining over Rachel.
That's pretty much.
That's really annoying. You've just like written off 10 years of like, TV.
But I did it in a professional manner. Asa Butterfield in formal negotiations to be Spider-Man.
Yes, he is. He was.
Who is Asa Butterfield?
He was the kid from Ender's Game,
Which I haven't seen.
and he was the kid in Hugo.
Which I haven't seen.
No, was he?
I don't know.
Wasn't a kid in
I haven't
Hugo.
seen Hugo.
Now, is this the person we were talking about who then made some snidey comment on
Yeah.
Twitter
Yes.
Yes.
and is in trouble
So he
before
said
he's
something.
even started?
Someone
Well, that
was.
is why it says Twitter thing.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, have I got Twitter thing written down? Oh, look, I'm so prepared. He'd said someone was talking about he wasn't tall enough, and then
Oh, he said he's told.
and like Mark Ruffalo's 5'7", Downey Jr.'s like 5'8".
Chris Hemsworth's like 6'3" though.
Chris Evans is not that tall.
Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, he didn't mention Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a
Funnily
tank.
enough, he didn't mention him. And he's like, of course I'd look fine standing next to these guys. I'm this tall. And everyone was like, did you just confirm that you are in it?
And that you're going to be with all the other Avengers.
Yeah. If you wrote, I looked fine standing next to them, it was to be a bit more suspicious. But the reason I don't know exactly what he said is because I went back to try and find it, and it wasn't there. And then I went onto his Twitter account to see who else was tweeting at him, and his Twitter account wasn't there.
He's been deleted.
Yeah.
Just to point out, I've just gone on IMDb to look at what
Yes.
films he is. He was actually in Hugo.
Yes.
Also on here, Untitled Spider-Man reboot 2017.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's more or less confirmed.
Yeah, but
now.
to be honest, IMDb say that there's a Night Circus movie coming, and I doubt that.
He was also the boy in striped pajamas. He was.
See,
He was Alan
it was
Boyd.
either that or
Who
he
did
was
he play?
in Incredibly Loud and Unbelievably Close, or whatever that film was called.
No.
I want to. He looks like the kid that's in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
That
I'm
was
confused.
Have you seen that?
No. I know what you mean.
One last piece of comic book news, as we haven't talked Suicide Squad this week.
Rick Flag.
It's not about Rick Flag.
No,
We
it's
can't,
not
have,
about
a,
Rick
we can't
Flag,
have a
actually.
podcast about Rick
Well,
Flag.
there you go.
Well, thanks for
mentioned
mentioning him.
Thank you.
The
Footage.
on-scene sets of Jared Leto, and he does actually appear to have the tattoos.
Yeah.
After they said he didn't have the tattoos,
they'll
and
just
it was
CGI
just
it
for
out.
Yeah, they could CGI it
promotional
out.
purposes.
But why would they do that?
I don't mind
Do
them
you care?
all. I don't mind them all,
the one on his
apart from
head.
the one on his head.
What's the one on his head?
It says demented, I think.
Why do you mind that?
I don't like it.
All right. I'm just wondering if you had a reason. I'm not saying.
I
I don't care. I love the one with the little tear.
there's like a J.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I love that one.
Did you see the other shot that was, I don't know if it was faked or not, but obviously he sat in the chair with his hands up at his head. There was a shot from behind, and it was Margot Robbie tattoo needle and everything.
Oh right, no, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, so I don't know if it was somehow cleverly faked, but it looked good.
No, the only thing I've seen is have you seen the video?
Oh no, we haven't talked about the
What
picture.
video? What?
The video of them on set.
No.
All right, yeah. There's a video. There's no audio from him because he's not mic'd up.
Right.
Oh no, because they are mic'd up. That's how they record the voice. But there's one point when she screams.
Okay.
This is when she's dressed in a scientist outfit. So this must be like
when she's Harleen Quinzel.
yeah. So they're covering a lot of ground in the Suicide Squad movie. But he's in the Joker-mobile, as it's being called. But people are just wondering if it's a car he steals.
Right.
And she's gone out to try and bring him back to the asylum.
Okay.
Because she walks up to the car, and she's like puts her hand on the bonnet, and then she screams, and you hear her scream, "Get out of the car!"
Yeah.
And then he gets out, and then they just like he starts flirting with her, and it looks like it's the first time he's shown affection towards her. Because she looks surprised but enjoying it.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
What about Rick Flag, Alex?
I don't know.
Well, there must be something.
No.
Have you seen his costume?
No.
Have you seen any of the shots of them as a group?
No. Yes.
What did you think?
I don't know.
I finally saw the shot of Will Smith in his Deadshot mask.
Yes, that looked better.
I thought that looked good.
The rest I was going to say, by the way, there's a bit where Joker then after he's flirting with her, he then slaps her.
I heard that he backhands her because all people were like, someone was like, "Oh, this looks awesome," and then someone else was like, "Oh, so you're just promoting domestic violence?" And it's like, well, no, they're just sort of following the relationship between the two characters in the comic book. He treats her like shit, and she still comes back for more.
Yeah. It's not. It's certainly in no way like promoting it, because even in the comics, it's it's a horrible dynamic. But I think I couldn't tell exactly what happened. But just before he slaps her, a guy walks up,
right,
and he's like talking to them, and then that guy, like Joker, like does something, and then the guy collapses someone if he shoots him.
Okay. And
then she complains that he shot a guy, and then he slaps her or something.
Okay.
It looks really good between them two. I'm hoping they are the focus of it, to be honest.
Yeah, I would like that.
When you're in the middle of it, and you've just got to get a grips with who these people are.
Obviously not.
Maybe hopefully it's more of a flashback than a.
It could be, because apparently those shots of Will Smith in all the leather and stuff were like a prequel-y type thing.
Yeah.
So
I'd rather have it as flashbacks than before the film starts.
Yeah.
Is there going to be any reference to them in Suicide Squad?
Well, Jared Leto has apparently been seen on the set of Batman Superman.
That's what I mean, yeah. Is there any sort of references to them?
So
It might be.
Any of the other guys? I don't know.
Who knows if they were filming, because it was the second unit doing this scene, so
it's possible.
I don't understand. Has Batman Superman finished filming now?
Don't know.
Because it's not coming out for another year. It can't have done, and yet they're filming footage for Suicide Squad.
They've got a trailer.
Yeah, I don't understand what DC's doing. They're playing their cards really close to their chest. Certainly more than Marvel is.
Yeah.
I just wish they would tie their cinematic and TV universes together, because that Legends thing that's coming out looks quite mental.
Yeah.
Flash and Arrow are doing really, really well.
I suppose you can't say Gotham, can you? Cause it's
but the second series of the first series of Flash has just finished, and that's been getting sort of rave shouts. So it just seems weird that they're going to release a Flash movie and it won't be the guy who plays the Flash in the TV series.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. If there's one thing comic book fans like, it's continuity.
Yeah.
And I think Marvel has finally realised that. And Fox have cottoned on. They've fixed
X-Men.
They fixed X-Men.
DC getting rid of
Jury's still out.
We shall see. So that's films that are coming. Should we talk about films that we've seen? Or have you got any more news that you'd like to talk about?
I don't have any more news.
I haven't got any more news.
No?
So this is a long list of reviews now.
It is.
I was wondering if you wanted to discuss any trailers or anything that we've seen. for upcoming films.
Think of Jurassic World trailer.
Yeah,
it's not that good a trailer.
It's not, and I'm starting to not want to see the film.
Yeah.
Because the trailer's annoying me.
Yeah, I agree.
Try to think of other trailers. No, it was when we were sat watching Pitch Perfect 2 and the trailer for Poltergeist came on, and we had those we had these kids in front of us who were about 12, and it's like, okay, and then it was kind of an edit.
It was like 10 seconds long.
Yeah.
The only horror bit you saw was when the hand comes like towards the other side of the TV, and then you just can't see Poltergeist. Yeah. Thank God that was a short trailer.
Was that horror film that's come? Oh no, that was Poltergeist.
Yeah, it looks good.
I saw a trailer for something this morning that was by the people who made Glee and American Horror Story, called Scream Queens.
All right,
that looks quite interesting.
I know what that's about.
We'll talk about that when we've all seen it.
Yeah.
What I need you to do now, Paul, since we're talking about trailers, you need to review the new Inside Out trailer, because last podcast...
Well, the old Inside Out trailer, but Paul's
seen the Inside Out.
It's the newest one. You've finally seen what we were talking about, and last podcast you didn't sound...
I don't remember that.
Shall I get the previous audio and put it in here?
So this is the film that I mentioned that Rotten Tomatoes have given 100%. Apparently it's been amazingly received at Cannes.
Yeah.
And the trailer looked quite good. It looked funny.
You turned to me and said, "Is that on the list?" I was like, "Yeah, don't worry, it's on the list." Did you I almost thought, did he forget that this is the film me and Alex were describing to him?
I don't actually listen to what any of you two say. I just like the sound of my own voice, which is why I agreed to do this in the first place. Yeah, it looks funny. It really does look funny.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And like you say, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Exciting times.
That's always built up there.
Other trailer that I completely forgot about, the Muppets.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I went to show this to my friend Lauren last night, and it's been cut from YouTube in the UK.
Really?
Yeah. And I had to eventually find businessadvisor.co.uk that were talking about it, and they still had the video on there.
So is this another show that we're not going to get then?
I don't know. But it does look so funny, so I'll stream it or something.
Yeah, if you can find the Muppets TV trailer on ABC, give it a watch, because it does look really good.
Businessadvisor.co.uk or something had it.
Yeah.
I'll just torrent it.
What, the trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
If it's on there.
It's 2 minutes, it's hilarious.
Yeah, it is.
Enough said. Mic drop out here. Reviews.
Back to pick up the mic.
Yeah, because I forgot we had another half of the podcast to do. I would like to start with Alex talking about 2x2.
What would you like to know?
I would like to know, what is 2x2, Alex?
It is a film. It's based on Noah's Ark.
Okay. Does it have a boat?
Yes.
That's a good start.
Yes. The animals are made up. They're not real animals.
Alright. None of them.
Some of
What,
them.
like the story of Noah's Ark? Boom!
What are you doing?
Cricket chirping.
Oh. It sounded like a bird.
Crickets on the Ark?
What?
Well, there must have been.
What
There's two of
real
everything.
animals were they? Like, you've got to have...
There were things
Was
like...
there a
There's got to
unicorn?
be a giraffe. There's always a giraffe in Noah's Ark.
Yes, there was giraffe.
There's always a zebra.
Yes.
And there's always an elephant.
Yes, probably at some point. But the main characters that it follows are completely made up. So
What are they?
I don't know, because they're made up.
Yeah,
Did
but
they
they must
not get
have a
on the
name.
Ark then?
I can't remember.
Did they die?
What? That's supposed to spoil it, I'm going to tell you that.
Okay.
Yeah, don't tell me, because believe it or not, I'm going to see this next week.
Oh, yeah. Are you also taking a very
Are you
small
taking
child?
Libby?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not going to sit
Hey,
See a
money
better
to see
children's
it.
film.
like Mad Max.
I was going to say
That's what I want to watch again.
Sneak her in.
So
how was it?
It wasn't good, was it not?
It was just a kids' film. Well, you know, they always bring out these animated films that cost peanuts to make. And
Yeah.
Especially around sort of half term time.
yeah, in particular. That's when I saw it, I think it was half time.
I did a thing on Amazon Prime to watch some movies that I haven't seen before, and I made a list and then randomly let fate decide which one I watched. And while I was making the list, there was House of Magic was a possibility. I was like, I'm not even putting that on the list because it's one of those kids films that probably made for $3 million, and it just looked awful.
Okay.
It wasn't an awful film. It was what it was. A kids' film.
It was just a Saturday morning cartoon that lasted an hour and 20 minutes.
Pretty much, yeah.
Let's carry on with Saturday morning cartoons that lasted an hour and 20 minutes and talk about Spongebob SquarePants.
This was really good.
Are you happy that you finally got to see it?
It was amazing.
I'm so surprised. That was during half term as well, wasn't it? It was like the Sunday of half term. Because
Right,
I'm
'cause
sure
half
you.
term's next week. Half term's next week.
Oh.
It must be the end of term.
End of term. No, it couldn't have been that either.
No, it was just a Sunday.
Oh no, it was the Sunday before bank holiday, wasn't it?
Yes.
Or was it bank holiday Monday? Either way, there was loads of kids there.
It was bank holiday
Yeah.
Monday.
It was, yes.
There was loads of kids there, and we were the creepy looking dudes in the back row. Just the three of us, wasn't it?
Laughing hysterically. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very similar to the SpongeBob TV show. It's mainly a cartoon, 3/4,
Yeah.
and then it goes to the live action bit you see in the trailer. It's a minority of the film, even though it's a.
Is it? I thought it was close to half and half.
No, I don't
No,
think it was that
definitely not.
long, that bit, to be
It's
honest.
only the final scene, the final set piece, really.
Maybe so I didn't actually like the live action bit.
No, I didn't.
That's
either.
what he didn't like it.
I was saying maybe it dragged a bit, and that's why I felt it was like half and half.
I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was a bit silly.
The whole film was silly.
Yeah, but it made sense when it's a cartoon that was silly.
Yeah, that's what you mean.
I think that it was just a marketing thing. Like they came up with a reason to make the movie. I'd have gone to see it and enjoyed it had it been the cartoon all the way through.
Okay.
Don't forget the first 15 minutes were live action as well.
Yeah, that was fine. They were like setting the scene.
Yeah.
And those seagulls were funny.
Yeah, the seagulls were alright.
Yeah.
They weren't unfunny. I didn't think any of the jokes when SpongeBob got on the beach. I didn't find any of that funny.
No.
Like the superpowers, they kind of wrapped everything up too quickly, considering how long they spent setting up the problem.
Okay.
But getting to that point, it's one of the funniest films of the year.
And it gave us Matt Berry.
Oh, Matt
did.
Berry's dolphin
As a
was the
talking
best.
space
I was in
dolphin.
We need a
Yes.
cameo of the year award, and he's won it. That was I think that's the funniest thing that's happened this year.
It must have been. I was in absolute
And then
tears.
the end credits with the rap.
Yeah. The thing is, did you actually get what... You know when you saw him from behind and it was like the bald head and the cloak and everything, did you actually get what that was a
By film.
It's a reference to the Marvel universe.
Oh,
There's
is
a
it?
guy called the Watcher who's this
Right.
bald-headed guy who like is watching everything.
I've seen
Because
the
when he
picture.
comes in there, he's like, I've been standing here for millennia watching, blah, blah, blah. And then he turns around and goes, and makes this fucking dolphin noise.
See, for some reason, what came into my head, it might have been because of his accent as well. But have you seen the Blackadder Christmas special?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's the bit where they go into the deep future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His descendant is like Overlord Galactic Emperor, and that's what it reminded me of. So that's why I was like, it's had nothing to do with it at all. But
So I got a merciless Ming vibe from it. But I think, it's just
I think that's the cloaked collar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole bit was just hilarious. Matt Berry's voice is funny regardless.
Yeah.
and it's funny. Kids will enjoy it. And I don't think there's any dirty jokes in it, but there's certainly there's certainly jokes that will go over their heads.
Yeah.
Like my favourite joke was when he was tiptoeing, and then when Plankton's tiptoeing, and then he
With the
turns
piano.
around and SpongeBob's playing like on a tiny piano. He's like, "Will you stop?" I couldn't get over how funny that was. And when they went into the future and they found the whole world was covered in desert, and then it was like 2 days later or something.
Yeah.
It's like kids wouldn't
like-
find that funny, but
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious.
The bit that I found, and it took me a little while to actually realise what was going on, was when it did go into the live action bits, and it's like, why is there a squirrel
Yeah.
running around? It's like, fuck, it's Sandy.
That was the only bit I liked. It was a nice touch. But if they'd done that, I think it would have been funnier if he was just a real sponge.
And Patrick was an actual
Yeah,
starfish.
I think it would have been
Okay,
really funny
yeah.
if they'd done that.
Yeah, it was, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm glad we went to see it.
Yeah.
So what else did we see that day?
Next on the list.
Oh yeah, Unfriended.
Yeah, Unfriended was good.
I enjoyed Unfriended.
So it's a horror film. It's all set from. It's like one of those found footage concept films, except it's all.
It's one person's laptop
Yeah.
screen,
Yeah,
basically,
that's all it is. Apart from
she's
the
like-
very final 30 seconds.
where she shuts her laptop.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's really cool because you see the laptop shut as if
Yeah.
you had been looking at it like she
Yeah.
was, and then it turns out that you were sitting where she was.
Yeah, it's very cleverly done, I thought.
It's cleverly done all the way through because she's talking to people on video Skype.
Yeah.
But then she's also checking Facebook,
She's using
checking
iMessage.
YouTube, different iMessage for
Yeah.
different people, Facebook Messenger, Spotify. But then the ghost or whatever's fucking with her computer, so like there's the bit where she goes back to Spotify and all the songs are the same
It's just
song.
the same song. Yeah.
It's really creepy and really well done.
It is. I felt it was a bit of a gimmick. It was good at first, and then I got a bit tired of just seeing the computer screen.
I didn't.
I think
didn't at
I think
all.
it would hold up a lot better if I was watching it at home on my own laptop in the dark.
Yeah, I can see
I
that.
would-
A bit boring.
I think that because of the short runtime, it didn't bother me like that, especially because every now and again there'd be times when I didn't even realise it was computer screen, like when they're playing the Eye of Never game. That was like one of the most tense things.
Yeah, that was good.
The thing, my criticism would be, I was, and this is a spoiler, I was fully expecting there to be a non-paranormal revelation at the end.
Yeah, no, I think I was.
I thought that, you know, someone was hacking and doing it. I didn't know how they were going to make that dude put his hand in a blender.
Oh, that was horrible.
Yeah. But everything else, like, there's 90% of it can be explained in another way, and I was just waiting for, like, a big twist, but there kind of wasn't one. It's not the same as
was
it
the
follows,
big twist the fact that it was a supernatural thing, though?
It could,
and,
you
and
can
mentally
argue.
you're building yourself up for someone's fucking with them. You know, someone's set all this up so they think it's a paranormal thing.
It kind
So
of,
that's kind of a double twist.
Yeah.
You're expecting it to be a twist, and then it twists it back on itself and becomes the thing that it was meant to be.
I would
all
argue in
along.
that case, though, that you're expecting a twist, then there just isn't one, because
Yeah,
it's
I
always
suppose.
it's always proposed to you that it is her.
That's true.
Like, at first she's asking who's doing it, and the person's always saying it's her. At no point do they ever really
No.
twist you back.
I kind of thought, and I feel this about, because you had to pay attention to what was on the screen, you felt more drawn in.
Yeah.
And I find that if I watch a subtitle film, I pay more attention, because you can't just look away and check your phone and all that sort of shit.
I agree. That's probably true. Because I was always thinking that there was probably... Because she had like loads of windows open, and she had loads of desktop icons that you could just kind of see corners of every now and again. I was trying to pick up on everything to see if there was another clue or whatever else was going on. Would you watch a sequel to this? Because we all said we'd watch a sequel to It Follows, because hopefully they'd do something with the premise.
I thought It Follows was about a horror film.
Really?
Yeah.
It's about a ghost that's making people kill themselves, so it's definitely a horror film, but I think the style of it was more of a thriller.
I think that's why I was a bit disappointed with it.
And it wasn't scary.
No, I didn't find it scary. I
At
found
any point.
It Follows was scary at times. It was really creepy.
It Follows was creepy all the way through.
Yeah.
I didn't get a creepy vibe or a scared vibe in this, but I got a tense vibe. So I can see your point completely.
Okay.
But it's ranked quite highly on my list. I think it ranked above It Follows overall.
I didn't come out of it. That wasn't the most disappointing film we saw in that day of watching 3 films.
What else did you say?
We saw Monsters Dark Continent, which is
we may well talk about next.
I think
I decided to go home, and apparently I made the right choice.
You definitely made the right choice. There's no need to see this film.
Have you watched Monsters?
No, I
yet?
still haven't. I'm
Okay.
going to.
Monsters is great.
Yeah.
It's such
Everyone
a
says
film.
it is.
And this was just really disappointing. They could have done so much more with it.
Was this the one with Julianne Moore?
No.
No. There was like a fantasy one with Julianne Moore.
That was the
Seventh
Seventh
Son.
Son.
That was it, yeah.
Shit, I knew something.
Yeah.
It's only because it was Julianne Moore with that.
Yeah.
I will say with Monsters, the second half is superior to the first half.
Mm-hmm.
And there was moments when I thought, that's really cool. But there was so many moments when I was just not drawn in at all.
No.
Because I know that Monsters, and they try to do the same thing here, and it was more like a war film.
Yes.
And about insurgency in the
And
Middle
it
East.
was almost like a who are really the monsters type thing.
It tried to be far too clever.
Yeah. I left slightly disappointed because I'd watched Monsters the night before.
Yeah.
So that I could, in case I needed to know anything.
I was expecting so much more from it.
It was a shame.
I always knew it wouldn't be as good, even though I haven't seen the first.
And it wasn't Gareth Edwards behind the sequel.
But it's still a reputable director. It's the chap that did the later Bourne films, or the first Bourne film.
Okay.
And he also directed Matt Damon's Green Zone, which is a well-directed film.
Okay.
So I was expecting it to be better than this, because it just wasn't good. And did you give a fuck about any of the characters?
No, not really.
I didn't give a crap about any of them. And the ones I cared about the least, they ended up just getting killed off in the most ridiculous manner, like halfway through the film. It's like the first hour is set up for the last half hour.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't great.
If the whole film had been like the half hour was, it would have been passable. I wouldn't say, even then I wouldn't say it would have been a good film.
No.
But it's just about 4 dickhead jarheads that want to go over there and kill some monsters. And it's just, you don't feel connected to any of them.
No. Yeah, it's a shame.
Disappointing film then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really gutted because like I say, Monsters, but I actually really enjoyed.
I think it came out with like a 54 on that scale, and I think that's far too generous.
Like Monsters, you don't really see the monsters in it.
Yeah.
It's another film that's about human relationships and them dealing with a situation.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what this one was. You know, there were lots more shots of the monsters.
Yeah, but still,
for no reason though.
There was only one bit where I think the monsters in the panoramic shots.
Yeah.
Were really good, but
it left me feeling empty. It was the worst way to end the day.
It was.
We'd had 2 good films before that, and then we finished on that.
Yeah.
It was a bit like, no. Age of Adeline, I didn't see. I really liked the look of the trailer, and then I didn't actually go and see the film.
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it? I thought it was pretty good.
Okay.
It wasn't, exceptional, but it was intriguing.
So it's about a woman that doesn't age.
Yeah, basically.
But
I thought she's involved in a car accident or something. And
yeah. But the whole film is basically a romantic film.
It's a romantic
story.
drama.
Yeah.
There's
It's
not
about her not wanting to fall in love with people because they age and die.
Yeah.
I think Simon was expecting more to do with the time side of it.
Okay.
Wanted to see more of her growing up and people dying while she was still alive and stuff, and he didn't see any of that. It was all...
You started watching the film at the point when she had accepted what was happening to her and she developed a system for dealing with it.
Okay.
I think that the journey of her working out that she was immortal
would have been a
more
interesting
interesting.
story.
Moves on every 10, 15 years, gets a new identity and moves to a new place and starts again. And that's exactly where it starts. And
I often wonder how much you could do that before you ended up back in the same place and someone tweaked something.
Well, that's what happened in the film. So.
Fair enough.
Can I spoil it, sure?
I don't think anyone cares about this.
Basically, she meets this guy, and she's like, pushes him away because she doesn't want to get attached to him, and she sort of falls in love with him. And he says, "I'll come off dinner with my parents." And his dad is a guy that she fell in love with 50 years ago or something.
And he recognised
maybe she should have moved further afield.
Well, she met him in England.
Oh.
And then the guy she met was in San Francisco. I don't know where his parents live.
Okay.
Yeah, he went to medical school, didn't he?
She convinced him to drop out of medical school and become an astronomer.
Right.
And then he was going to propose, and she panicked and
run away.
Yeah.
But every now and again, you do see flashbacks to different relationships she's had. But it's just tiny pinpricks of light into her story. It
tries to explain.
Oh, it's terrible.
It tries to explain the whole not aging thing with complete bullshit
pseudoscience.
It's the worst narrator as well.
It's awful. It's really. I mean, it didn't detract from the story at all. It was right at the start and right at the end, but it was just so bad. And it's talking about how she crashed into this pool. She got hypothermia. Yes, the daughter was at
240,000 volts straight into her DNA, prevented the telomeres from thing. And as we all know, thanks to the revelation in 2036, and the electrical components revolved around the aging process. And it's just it's so out of tone.
Don't try and make it believable.
It didn't need a narrator as well. It would have been far more interesting to watch her and pick up on what was going on for yourself than...
Because she didn't know what happened to her.
So why did we need to then?
It was just
didn't need a narrator whatsoever.
Just to explain the crappy science.
But he didn't say anything again.
So was he meant to be?
He's actually
2036 then?
Because he was. It's just I don't know. It was
pointless.
going into ridiculous detail on every level.
I'm confused.
If they'd got rid of him, it'd have been very good.
Okay.
But
he comes back at the end.
Right.
Now this is one of my biggest criticisms is the narrator. I can get on with the romantic drama. It wasn't bad. It was the narrator that fucked it off for me. Not my sort of thing, but it was a credit for that. The narrator was awful, as we've discussed, but he does it again at the end because spoilers. She's in another car crash, and this time the opposite happens to her. So she starts aging, and then the last scene is her finding her grey hair. Now, a bit of backstory. I'm going to be a narrator here. The guy's dad that she had a fling with, he then, as I said, became an astronomer. He found a comet that had never gone past Earth, but was supposed to.
Okay.
And at the moment she finds the grey hair, the comet goes past.
Right.
Now,
so the universe has started.
It's corrected itself almost.
Okay.
I think it's a nice bit of symbolism.
Yeah.
Or it would have been if it's and at that moment that Adeline plucked a grey hair from her head, the asteroid that was due to fly past Earth 40 years ago finally made its journey. And then the credits roll.
That's
like,
what they say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on! All it needed was it didn't even
A
need
shot
to
of
be.
the comet.
Just they could have been walking down the path, and there could have just been a little bit in
Yeah.
the sky.
Yeah.
It didn't even need to be obvious. It would, if you'd been in the audience and picked that up yourself.
You'd have been like, oh,
That was
That's what it
amazing.
says.
That was really
The
clever.
narration all the way into space, and you see the whole planet, and the asteroid like whoosh. It would have made. I would have been. I just couldn't forgive it for that.
Yeah.
okay.
It does. It treated you like you were a complete moron.
Yeah.
And it was
Which
a bit-
I'm guessing you're a complete moron.
Yeah.
That's bad. Right, let's enter the Alex monologues.
The Alex monologues again.
Far from the madding crowd.
Another
I
sort
thought
of
you went
period-
to see that.
I didn't go see it.
They
I know you
wanted
went to see
That would have been a
royal
quadruple
thing.
bill if I'd done that.
Oh, that's not Johnny, is it?
No,
Royal Night Out.
Royal Night.
Oh, Royal Night Out's not on the list.
No.
we'll come back
So
to that.
we'll do Alex
There was
first.
Simon monologue.
We'll have a little period drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes.
What with spooks as well?
Yes.
Spoilers for
Yeah.
what's coming up.
Yeah.
Far from the madding crowd, Alex.
Apart from the Madding Crowd, don't go and see it. Don't pay money because it's a 2-hour version of the trailer. It's the most predictable thing I've ever watched.
Okay.
And anything interesting is in the trailer. And
Moving swiftly on then.
Yes, that'll do. Don't watch it.
Was Carrie Mulligan hot?
Ish.
Because she looks. There's bits in the trailer when I think even dressed in the period get up and she's like she's trying to prove the commoners that she's like she can dig in. I was like, yeah, it's pretty hot. But maybe it's just because I've got this fantasy where I need to sleep with a high class lady. To,
No, she was a lot hotter in The Great Gatsby.
Well, yeah.
Just saying.
Scarlett Jo's like a lot hotter in Avengers than she is in Match Point. It's not comparing it to much, is it? It's like
I'm just giving
it's an
you a
obvious
scale.
thing.
Okay.
Is she hotter? She was in the episode with the
With
Angels for
Angels?
the first time.
Was that her?
Yeah, she's Sally Sparrow. She's the
Oh,
main
was
character
she?
in that episode, yeah.
Shit.
Because everyone was expecting her to be the new assistant, and then it's like, oh no, she's being a movie star.
Wow.
And I was like, shit.
I'm going to have to watch that and get back to you on
Yeah,
level of
okay.
hotness in Doctor Who.
Good, because I can't remember. I just thought you would. You're a Carrie Mulligan fan.
I'm not much of a fan.
Oh, I am.
I didn't know she was just Doctor Who.
Yeah, I'm clearly the biggest fan.
Now, talking of TV shows and movies, I discussed this with you in the car the other night, and you said Kit Harington plays Kit Harington.
Yes, he does.
Or he plays Jon Snow.
He plays Jon Snow very
Anything
well.
else to say about Spooks: The Greater Good?
The
I thought I'd
Greater
give it its full
Good.
title as I know it.
I just like it because it reminds me of Hot Fuzz, which is one of my
It
favourite.
reminded you of Hot
The
Fuzz.
title, Spooks, The Greater Good.
Okay.
Have you ever seen Hot Fuzz?
Bits of it.
No, you don't get that joke.
You don't get a
then.
reference.
But that's a big thing.
Oh yeah. Go watch Hot Fuzz, because you're missing out. But yeah, Spooks was actually quite good.
Okay.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it was.
Because the only review I heard was Kit Harington plays Kit Harington. I didn't actually ask you how good the film was.
It was quite a good film. It was very Bourne-esque.
Right, yeah.
It wasn't as good as the Bourne films. Maybe the last one.
Was it a bit better because like of the sort of English element to it? Did you enjoy
I
it a
liked
bit more?
that. It's all set in London, so
Yeah.
on location. It is quite sort of twisty-turny, but it's also predictable at the same time.
Right. Do you have to have seen Spooks to understand what's going
No,
on?
I asked that
I
question.
haven't seen a lot of Spooks. I
Yeah.
knew who some of the characters were,
Yeah.
and I saw them come back, and I recognised them. But it's completely. I feel like it was completely separate from
Yeah.
the TV series. Apart from it had some of the same characters in.
Because I thought the big reveal in the trailer where they rip off the bag
Yeah,
and
it's so
Harry,
weird.
it's like, well, surely unless you watch Spooks, you wouldn't know who he is anyway.
Yeah.
But you don't need to because the film sort of explains who
Okay.
he is anyway. That he's been there for a long time and
Yeah.
done it all and whatever, and it explains that.
So if we've got like Bond up here
Yeah,
and Bourne down here,
not that far down.
I think so.
if we've
What's wrong
got
with
Bond
Bourne?
up here and Bourne down here,
I hate Bourne.
Yeah,
where does Spooks fit?
better.
Okay. I'm so glad this is an audio podcast.
Yes, probably. I can't even say it's about here. It's very
So
slightly
it's,
under
it's,
Bourne.
it's about an inch below Bourne.
Not even an inch, a centimetre.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you
Yeah.
Is this for?
But
Yeah,
yeah.
this is for reference. I'm going to take a photo. Okay.
Done.
Right,
Okay.
done. Cool. I'm a big fan of the Bond films, and I felt they were a lot closer to James Bond.
Really?
But I feel
No.
James Bond is a completely different sort of film. Maybe not sort of new Bonds, but a lot of the older Bonds are very cheesy. And
The new
Not
Bonds
all
are based
not
on
all the
Bonds.
old Bonds are cheesy either.
what?
Not all the old
No,
films
but-
are cheesy.
You know what I mean?
I know what he means. I
Yes,
think most
thank
of them are cheesy.
Yeah, the majority are.
Yes.
Apart from the Welsh ones. Jones the Bond. Bit of an Alan Partridge thing. Simon, do you want to talk about that thing that you saw?
The Royal Night
Royal
Out.
Night Out?
I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
It was.
Did you say it was another case of the trailer showing you?
Yeah, the
entire
trailer
film?
was the whole film.
Okay.
There's nothing apart from the last 5 minutes that happens that you don't think is going to happen.
Okay.
It played out exactly how I thought it would. The last 5 minutes, by the way, it's not a twist. It's just a real solid way to finish.
But it did.
Because there's obviously no way that the Princess Elizabeth and the guy that she meets, there's no way that it didn't happen. So you can't have the Hollywood ending you want.
Right.
So I don't know how they're going to wrap it up, and they wrapped it up really satisfying.
Okay.
The soundtrack was good. It's got full of 40s and 50s music.
Nice.
For those of you who don't know, this is about when Princess Elizabeth and Margaret went out partying
On
after
VE
World
Day.
War II, VE Day.
On a massive bender.
Yeah. And it really shows the characters quite well, because your laptop's shit.
My laptop's fine.
Cannot find script file.
Oh no, it keeps doing that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've noticed.
So Princess Elizabeth is like the responsible one. Princess
It
Margaret.
didn't do that until you borrowed it.
Shh. But I enjoyed the film. I think it's a nice Saturday afternoon film.
Okay.
If ITV2 aren't showing a Bond film, this would be a good replacement.
Okay.
I'd have actually quite liked to see it on VE Day because they were doing special showings.
I'm surprised they didn't release it for VE Day. Yeah.
I saw an advanced screening and it was full of like middle-aged couples,
Oh.
and there was these two. Well, I'm not gonna say that they were two ladies together, but they were thick.
Okay.
They just had no sort of knowledge of how to deal with social situations, because I was already sat down and they asked if they could sit down as well next to me. There was at this point there was a lot of the cinema was still empty. There was room for them. They made me get up, and then one of them they both sat down, and then one of them immediately stood up, said she needed the toilet. So she got up, went to the toilet, and then she came back and I had to stand up again and then sat down. And then the other one decided she needed the toilet. So I had to get up again and let them pass, and then let her again when she sat down. And then they started talking like, do you want a Coke? And I was like, no you don't. In my head.
You didn't actually say anything.
No.
You just smiled and nodded politely and stood up whenever they wanted to get past.
Yeah. But there was it's just there was clearly full of people that didn't go to the cinema very often, so I don't know how they got tickets. Unless they only go to advanced previews because they're signed up to that thing because they're all
Maybe.
cheap and they don't give a shit about the craft of movie making.
Okay.
But there were some people that arrived at like 11 a.m. The film started at 10:30. When I say started, on the
That's what
ticket, and they advised you got there at 10 because
Time to sit down.
it was
for
unlimited
snacks
amount
and
of
stuff.
tickets. It was first come first served. And they arrived at 11 o'clock and were annoyed that there was no good seats left. I was like, you arrived an hour late of what I'd asked you to, and half an hour after the film had been on half an hour. The princesses already got separated, and all of the plot had been established. At this point, you just along for the ride.
Yeah.
I just didn't see the point. I'd have just not sat down.
I wouldn't have let them in. To be
Well,
honest.
as soon as the film starts, the door should be locked.
Apart
No
from when
ins or
we were
outs.
like a minute late for Fast and Furious 7 because we'd come out of the
Yeah.
screen.
And you missed Jason Statham blowing up a hospital.
Yeah, we completely
To be
missed the whole
honest,
scene.
I don't think I missed it.
Stop slagging
We
off
didn't see it.
Furious
We didn't
7.
miss it.
I think we should talk about Pitch Perfect 2 before we finish on a film that we all saw together.
Yeah.
Pitch Perfect 2, Simon.
Yeah. So we watched Pitch Perfect 1 at the weekend,
We did.
and I thought it was good. I enjoyed it.
I thought it was akka awesome.
There's some of the bits I didn't like. My only criticism of the first one is that the first one feels cheap.
Okay.
There's a lot of the supporting cast who I haven't seen in anything else other than this one, and then in the sequel, they're not great. And then there's bits where they're like, they're clearly on shit sets. But it was funny. Anna Kendrick's good. The music's good. Storyline was good. It was
Made me want to watch The Breakfast Club.
yeah. It's a good film. It's a solid film. It's more of a
Have you seen
guilty.
Pitch Perfect?
No, I
It's.
haven't.
I'd say that the first one is a guilty pleasure film. It stands up there with some of my other guilty pleasure films.
I think if it hadn't have been for Anna Kendrick, I probably wouldn't have watched it.
Yeah.
And I only watched it because she was in it.
I think I prefer it. I think it was funnier. I think the production value was bigger.
Okay. The production value was clearly bigger.
Yeah. I just thought that it's in the Kennedy Center, which is the Lincoln Center, when they finish, where they have the final in the first film.
Yeah.
Did they actually film it in there? Because it just looked crap for like such a highbrow venue.
I don't know what the Lincoln Center is.
No, neither do I.
You're assuming it's a highbrow venue.
I know it is a highbrow venue. I just don't know what.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know what it is, or where it is, or what it looks like.
Right.
Isn't it like a basketball court?
No, that's Lincoln Field. That's where the Eagles play.
And the Eagles' American football team.
Yeah.
It's a basketball.
Yeah, but I don't know any basketball arenas called Lincoln Arena. Lincoln Center.
I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The only Lincoln thing I know in American sport
Okay.
is Lincoln Field.
I'm gonna Google.
But it was really funny.
I'm hoping it was funnier than the trailer.
The trailer, honestly,
I
think
was concerned. They made the most cringe-worthy World War II joke.
Which wasn't in the film.
Which wasn't in the film.
Thank God for that.
The film, the joke when Fat Airy, that's the character's name.
Yes.
The joke when she says, "I'm pretty sure I'm the hottest one," wasn't in the film. I think there was very actual. I think the jokes in the film were completely different to the jokes in the trailer, which is what the problem was. Yeah, I think there was. In the second one, I can't even think of how many out and out fat jokes there was. There's lots in the first one.
I think the reason that there's lots of fat jokes is because she owns.
Yeah, she does.
The fact that
she
she's
came
fat.
up with the name herself. That was so funny.
There's a spoiler there, Alex. I'm sorry.
That's like
ruined
the entire film.
It was
You may as well not even bother going to see it now.
And I just thought this one was a little more outrageous. It was the first one. I think was almost a bit too grounded, considering how stupid, silly some of the things. Clearly made it a little bit sillier to keep with the tone of what it should be, and it worked a bit better.
I liked the Lincoln Center. Looks all right. You can Google it if you're interested.
No one else is.
No. I liked the confused sexuality bits between Anna Kendrick and Commissar, which is her name.
That really made it.
Up against a Das Sound Machine, who are some Germanic, perfect a cappella group. And the main woman, basically Anna Kendrick keeps trying to square up to her, and then she's just like, "You smell of cinnamon." And then she's like, "I'm so confused." It was very enjoyable.
I thought Anna Kendrick was really good in this, and I thought that Haley Steinfeld from True Grit as well. She was really good as the new girl.
Mm-hmm.
She brought an interesting element to it because she can write original music. Anna Kendrick can produce already made music.
We had a nice Katie Seagal cameo.
Yeah, that was good.
Sheila in Futurama, or Peggy in Married with Children. I'm sure she's done other stuff, but they're the two.
I had a good sitcom education. I've watched most of Married with Children.
I know what Futurama is.
Okay, that's fine.
Snoop Doggy Dogg.
He was quite funny.
Yeah.
Parodying himself, really.
He's recording a Christmas album. And it's, Key and Peele? American sketch show guys. No. One of them was the record producer, and Anna Kendrick was getting an internship there. And between the three of them trying to come up with a Christmas record for Snoop Doggy Dogg, the lion himself.
It was
quite funny. The funniest bit of that film was the record producer and that other intern.
Dax, or whatever his name was, yeah.
Because there's just one bit when he shouts at him for being a hipster. And he's like, "If you say one more goddamn hipster thing again, I'm going to piss in your loot case." Yeah, that was the funniest thing. I'd love to see a spin-off set in that record studio.
That would be quite funny, actually.
It would just be hilarious.
Yeah. Even just shorts.
Yeah. But overall, good film. I think it came out in my top 15 at least.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about what's in my top 10?
Songs were good.
Actually, well, I've got...
Oh, you got something else? Alright.
Well, no.
I'll go back to the songs though, because I've been... they've just put the soundtrack to the second one on Spotify this morning.
Okay.
Because I've been listening to the first one because the second one was on Spotify. The music in the first one I think is a lot better. The original song that they wrote for it.
Yeah, it's alright.
But then I thought Anna Kendrick's Cups from the first one, which I can do the rhythm to now.
I can't believe you've been practicing that. It's ridiculous.
It doesn't take any practice, you just have to learn how to do it.
I think after this podcast is finished, you should record yourself doing it.
Oh, did you see the dust come off that chair?
Yeah, it is.
Ugh!
But that's it, folks.
That's like the skin cells of 1 million dead doctors.
Or just Simon, because no one else uses that chair.
That's true.
I don't lean on that arm though.
Well, yeah. Well, your skin
Hang
cells
on.
are somehow.
That's worse. That's the arm I do lean on.
That's just fine. Yeah, but the thing is, the sunlight caught that arm, so it made more of an effect. I didn't see anything from that one.
Oh, this one was much worse.
Okay, so finally the film.
No.
What?
Alex?
No, it's fine. We'll come back to it after.
After we're doing
No,
Mad Max.
we're finishing
Yeah, no,
on
it's
this.
fine. It's not a review.
Then we can't come back to it. We're finishing with Mad Max.
Okay.
So
What, the whole thing?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I was going to
think that's
say,
where we're going to wrap up.
because you were talking about your film list,
Yeah.
I thought it's nearly 6 months into the year, we could do like a halfway comparison.
Yeah.
And the next podcast, it'll almost be 6 months.
Okay, so next
That's a
podcast.
good idea.
Tune in next time when we'll talk about the first 6 months of this year.
We'll talk. Yeah, it's a preliminary. We'll do an awards show at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Certainly. We'll do a preliminary.
Can we
so
stay up all night and watch the Oscars? We still need to do
What?
the Babadook as well. Next year.
The Oscars are
Yeah,
next
we'll
year.
stay up next year. I always want to, and I never get the time off.
Because it's always a work day.
Yeah, it's
Finishes
always
at
on a
like
Sunday
5
night.
in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Rebel.
I'll get. What I'll do is
We'll be in Cambridge then. We'll all be on different shifts.
we'll discuss more than that. You've got a best actor list as well, I'm guessing, and stuff.
I've got, if I can remember right, actor, actress, director, newcomer, and
Am I the only one who doesn't
visual
make lists?
effects. This is the only list I make, and I've enhanced it to match Simon's.
But what if we're all discussing this? I'll send you the categories, and then you can pull from your list that you've seen, and just so you've got something to talk about.
Okay. Well, even if I haven't, I'll
Just to
make
compare them to how we feel about films that have come out.
Yeah, it's a
this
good
calendar
idea.
year.
Okay.
6
I've
months
also
in.
got soundtrack, Alex.
I've got that as well.
Right, fine.
Yes.
So that's the same categories I've got.
Yes.
Although I do think we need a best cameo section.
I think
Just
so.
Matt
'cause
Berry.
Yeah, the Matt Berry section.
He did own it. So finally,
Oh,
To
what
wrap
about
up.
Matt Damon? That's not really a cameo, was it?
And that was
in
last year.
Interstellar, that was a big reveal.
Oh yeah, that was also last year.
We all went to see Mad Max.
Mad Max Fury Road.
Alex and I started with a nice tea. We went and had a
We
meal
did.
together.
Oh yeah.
It did, yeah, it was very nice.
Me and David watched a bit Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It was a very good episode.
We had a poor waitress who got nothing but ridiculed all night.
A cute one.
No,
No.
but she just basically I can't even think what noise it was she made. But she went, "Oh, I stopped breathing," and I was like, oh, "You might want to try carrying on breathing. I think doctors now recommend that you at least maintain breathing as part of a healthy, balanced lifestyle." And it just got worse after that.
Yeah.
Really.
And then we swapped seats. And she got
Yeah, we swapped seats and she put our food down on the wrong side. But that was only so we could look at that guy with the really weird hairline.
Yeah.
Honestly, it looked like he looked like he'd had a monk cut,
Yeah.
but then coloured in the middle bit. But then got a bit carried away at the front and made it darker than the rest of
So
it.
he had like a full marker pen going around his forehead.
But then like a light charcoaling in the middle.
Can I take a photo of you doing that as well, please?
No, because it's not the same. It's not the same.
That's why we swapped seats, because Alex couldn't see him from where he was
Yeah.
sitting,
Sat
and I was
behind me.
pissing myself.
You can.
Yes.
It's like, right, we're swapping seats so you can see this guy. Yeah.
That was how our night started.
Yeah.
Yes, and then we went into Mad Max,
Which
in
was
IMAX 3D.
top.
It was a very good film. I
It
was
was excellent.
exhausted at the end of
It
that.
was exhausting.
It was just non-stop, wasn't it?
No,
There
there were like 3
Yeah.
breathers.
I think 3.
Yeah.
Exactly 3. Because me and you, at the exact same moment, each of the 3 times, we did this.
Took a drink out.
Took
and
a
I
drink.
drank it.
I didn't even think about drinking, eating.
I had to.
I got home and it's like, I've touched nothing that I
I
had.
took my full packet of M&M's home.
I can understand not eating. I don't know how you didn't drink because my mouth was like dry from like
Is that
sweating.
because it was like desert?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
just the whole thing. It's like you get sucked into the world you're in. When I went to see not Frozen, when I went to see The
Bicycles.
Grey with Liam Neeson, I was cold. watching
Okay,
that 'cause
and
he's
then
in that
you
last
held
year.
your breath during Gravity.
Yeah.
I'm sure we've discussed that before.
But yeah, it was all in the desert. It made me thirsty.
Okay, so
Describe the
would you-
plot
what
to
would you
me
like to talk
in less words than they use in the film.
okay, the
Mad
plot
Max,
of
Fury
Mad
Road.
Max. Basically, get a truck from one point to another, realise you've gone the wrong way, and turn around.
Yeah.
Go back to where he started. And
Yeah.
film.
There you go. That's pretty much it. That sums up event that we witnessed.
Let's face it, this film didn't need a plot.
It didn't need a script either, to be honest. The dialogue was probably about 3 lines.
A lot of the best films we've watched have really, really odd, very uninteresting plots.
Yeah, I suppose
Whiplash, which is my favourite film of the year so far.
Did that come out this week? I'm sure I saw an advert for it.
Yeah, I think it did.
I might buy that then.
Yeah.
Whiplash, Birdman. Nothing happens in Birdman.
Yeah, not a lot happens in Birdman.
Age of Adeline. Nothing happens in Age of Adeline.
Apart from a comet, apparently.
You get my point, anyway.
Yes, I do get your point, Alex.
Yeah, it didn't need it. The style was so cool.
And I really noticed it. There was very little CGI.
Yeah, that was going to be my next point.
wonder. I think was that pretty much all practical effects.
Yes.
The 2 shots
The
that I
stunt work and
know.
everything.
What I read is there was 3 like CGI shots.
Okay.
I saw 2 of them.
Right.
There's a bit where when those biker gang are waiting for them, or they're driving, they're like stood on
Through
top
the
of the
ravine.
mountain.
Yeah.
When the war rig is driving down, it's miles beneath them.
Yeah.
That was definitely a CG shot of the war rig. It's about 2 seconds long, and they're just driving around a corner.
Yeah.
And then the next bit's obviously when everything explodes at the end and the shit's coming at your face. Like, that couldn't have been real.
No. Yeah. Fair enough.
I couldn't see the 3rd shot.
Collapsing the rock wall.
Right.
That was CGI.
Well, surely the giant fucking tie.
I don't know. Maybe it's got some big ass fans in.
Yeah, I guess no. I didn't think about that. I'd forgotten that bit even happened.
Because that was right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know at that point because they essentially get chased the whole film.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how they were going to like drop the pace down but keep the chase going. And it was really clever how they did that at each point.
Yeah.
It was like they introduced the tornado, then they introduced the mud.
Yeah.
And it was just really well done. And watching a film, first of all, that we're saying was R-rated, we think, doing well, but also a film that relied heavily on practical effects because some of that stuff is impressive.
It's also like behind the scenes pictures.
Still forgot to check if Maddo was one of the bikers. You carry on talking and I'll look that up.
Well, yeah, I was going to say as well. I think another reason why it was so good is another one of those films that just assumes you're not an idiot.
Yeah.
The opposite of Age of Adeline.
Yeah.
Like John Wick. It's got this whole world, but it doesn't explain any of it, and it doesn't. You don't need.
He made this comment, and the reason it doesn't explain any of it is because there's 3 fucking films before it that explain it.
Yeah.
It's
the backstory.
It's the 4th film in a series.
Is it?
Yeah.
No,
it's a direct sequel to 3.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. This is supposed to be set 15 to 20 years after Mad Max 1.
Oh, I assumed it was just like a reboot of the entire franchise sort of thing.
No.
Ah.
They're rebooting it, but they're keeping the continuity.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Now, so yeah, I made that point that I'd love to know more about Max's backstory because he seems like a real interesting guy, and I was thinking it's a bit weird they didn't put any of that in the film. But then the reason they didn't is because there's 3 films you go watch to get that.
Yeah. Well, maybe there is that, but there's other things as well.
No, this is my counterpoint to Paul now. None of the world that exists in this film is mentioned in the other 3. You know, to shit from a lack of oil and nuclear war.
Yeah. It doesn't explain things like the what they call the War Boys.
Doesn't explain the War Boys. Doesn't explain how
they probably get explained in other films.
No. That whole society in this film isn't mentioned in the other 3.
That's why I assumed it was new and they changed all the setting. So I assumed it was
the first one is before the nuclear war happens.
Right.
The second one's after the nuclear war, and the third one is literally as society has broken down because of the war. This is then set this.
Okay.
So nothing that is apart from Max himself and the general setting of post-apocalypse and the car. Nothing actually ties to the other 3. So Immortan Joe, none of that's in the originals.
That's wrong because Immortan Joe plays the
actor.
The actor plays the baddie. I can't remember the name of him now.
I looked him up. David from work said he plays the main baddie, but he doesn't in the first one. He plays someone called the Toe Cutter.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
No, I haven't seen it either.
But talk about creepy for a villain.
It was awesome, man.
Yeah, because he had like the pestilent boils and things that had sand rubbed in.
They all were though. Like the other guy who had like his suit, but he had like nipple holes cut out.
Yeah, and like big elephant feet.
Yeah, horrible case of gout.
It was awful. But Max is like a normal guy, and then Furiosa, Charlie Theron's character, is probably the strongest character in the film. I'd say with an exception only to Nicholas Hoult, because essentially Mad Max you didn't know enough to see what was going on.
The guy who arranged the stunts worked on the original Mad Max films.
Oh, right.
He's also the stunt coordinator for Suicide Squad.
Oh, nice. So that hopefully. But there must be like there's bits when there's cars flipping over the cars and
That's all. No, it's all.
Yeah, it's all practical, but
incredible.
there's-
Yeah.
Okay, the guy has listed the top 5 of his practical effects from the film.
Go on then.
The War Boys cave pursuit, including Tom Hardy jumping out at the end and catching onto the winch, is a practical scene.
Yeah, but it would have been.
It'd be green screen.
It was green screen behind that.
Yeah, but even so, that was impressive.
It'd be jumping
The chase
onto
scene
a
was
crash
more
mat
impressive.
2 feet underneath him. But yeah,
The chase scene was more impressive.
Inside the
It's essentially
cave,
parkour, like
Yeah.
all the way, but with like 10 people in a narrow space, and the camera has to go with them.
It involved a winch moving the hook across the screen at a set rate, timed to Tom's leap for it, timed with the War Boys' arrival just as Max leapt out their reach.
Yeah.
The Buzzard's tanker attack.
Don't know what that
That's the
is. Favorite bit of the film. Didn't care for that.
with the exploding spears.
Yeah.
the Rock Riders bomb squad.
Which bit was that?
Let's
The
see.
motorbikes. Yeah, it must be
the
motorbikes.
motorbike riders. We got the best motorcycle trick riders and motocross riders in Australia.
Well, that must have been where they're jumping up.
Time and then get ready to land. It's pretty. Yeah, they just look like Red Bull X fighters. The polecats.
The
Which
big
are-
swinging.
The guys on the
poles.
giant poles that
Oh,
were leaning
yeah.
up. So that's a practical effect.
Awesome.
So there's like dune buggies going along, and then there's guys on huge swinging poles sticking out of the buggies that then the driver swings them to the right point so they can land on the big.
It seems like they used someone who'd done a lot of work with Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah,
to train
it
everyone.
looks circusy.
And then the whole final chase, the dancing truck sequence.
The dancing truck sequence.
It's difficult enough to do a chase scene with 2 or 3 normal cars on a normal street, but the incredibly flat desert that went for miles allowed us to have a whole armada of over 75 vehicles in one shot.
Oh, that's just in general when
Yeah.
they're. Even if you can somehow find a way to do these stunts, the fact that they had an armada of cars chasing the war rig must make everything more complicated.
Yeah.
Now, one of my favourite bits, and I discussed this in the car on the way home, and I don't know if the score.
Yeah.
And the fact that one truck that had the drums on the back
Yeah.
and the guitarist on the front, the score was only really in the film when that truck was in shot.
Every now and again you'd get like a shot, like
Occasionally,
orchestral,
yeah.
like one of them. But music-wise, score-wise, if you're doing it that way, I think it must. If you go back and watch it again, does that music like slowly fade in without you realising?
I'll tell you
Maybe
weekend.
as the truck.
Yeah, as they get closer.
Do you know it was all done by Junkie XL?
No, I didn't. Interesting.
Spoilers for next podcast. It's my soundtrack of the year so far,
Okay.
hands down.
I think it's mine as well.
It's the first thing that came close to knocking Whiplash off the top, and well, it did.
Fair enough.
I loved every second of it, and it's the first film of the year that I can't wait to see again at this intensity.
One of the best comments I've seen regarding it was the first car chase in it is one of the best car chases ever shot on film.
Totally right. It's like I'd forgotten that one even happened.
It's an awesome car chase, but you realise actually it's not the best one in there. It's
No.
probably the worst one.
I'm wanting to see what he does next though, because I'm assuming that the first 3 Mad Max films weren't like this in
It's
terms
outrageous.
of stunts and cars. I
I
know
know
that
the
the whole
technology
thing.
they do. It was in the 70s,
Yeah.
I think.
But
Very early 80s.
yeah.
Early 80s,
can he?
yeah.
Will he do this? Is the next one called The Wasteland? Is it going to be less car-y? Because this is essentially there's a car in every shot of the film, I think,
Yeah.
apart from maybe right at the start.
Yeah, I think when he's running through the cave.
Yeah.
That's about it.
But that's not even right at the start. There is a car at the start. It's
Well,
when
yeah.
he's standing there pissing in the desert.
Yeah. I'm
Eating
intrigued by
deserts,
what the
yeah.
next one's going to be, because I don't think he'll do this same over-the-top car thing again.
No.
I'm gonna appreciate.
Well, he hasn't even
it
got
as
a
well.
car now. His car's fucked in the desert somewhere.
Maybe it'd be more
Maybe.
gunplay and fighting. It's got to be cars. Mad Max is all about. The
Oh
cars.
yeah, it's all about
Yeah.
cars, but this one was like cars to the fucking tits.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that has made it quite popular with people,
Yeah.
because it doesn't matter about the storyline, it doesn't matter about how weird it is. Everyone can get behind a good car chase.
Yeah,
Especially when it's
unless
done
it's
well.
like Fast and Furious 7.
Everyone got behind that.
Apart from you, Paul.
Yeah, alright. To be honest, it wasn't that bad. No, so Mad Max, we all...
Yeah,
Absolutely loved it. Yeah.
it's just a shame to stick with it.
So where is it?
I can't remember. It's further down than I think.
Don't spoil it.
The way I'm talking about now, it's film of the fucking year. It's not, but
So I don't think we're going to have much for the next podcast anyway.
Do you think it will do well at awards
Awards. I think visual
effects and score.
Score will get nominated. I think it might get nominated for editing.
Yeah.
And maybe cinematography.
Yeah, cinematography.
It's
Some
not
of those
going to win
desert shots were beautiful.
best actor.
That shot
Tom
at
Hardy.
night. My name is Max.
My name's Max.
That's pretty much.
That's my Batman.
That's his only line. Nick Holt was not good enough for a nomination.
He was the only supporting actor. He was good. He could make supporting actor. It's too far away from Oscar season anyway.
Yeah, that's true. It would
Who
have
cares?
this sort of film.
Is
has
it?
to be
I
released
reckon
in October.
Inside Out's going to get best animated film.
That's only because
Easy money.
Well, there you go. I made a prediction.
they don't make enough animated films.
Well, they do. They just don't put some of them in the nominations.
Yeah,
Like a movie.
never live that down. Ours are going to be much better awards because Oscars too political. They miss out the good films. People's Choice Awards, idiots vote in them. This is the award show that you're going to want to watch.
Unbiased, multiple opinions.
This is, and by
I'm
having
biased.
a 6 monthly by having a 6 monthly award, you can see our work in progress.
Yes.
Okay. And see how many of the films that were like high up at the 6 month mark managed to
Stay
survive
up there,
Yeah.
the rest of the year.
Because
The way that we're going to do it straddles 2 Oscar seasons as well, though.
it does. You've got to remember that right at the start of the year, we've got things like Birdman coming in.
Yeah.
That the Oscars have already awarded.
Doing it yearly
Oh,
rather than Oscar season.
Yeah, that's tricky.
So we're going to have all the sort of summer blockbusters, all the Oscar bait at the start of the year.
And then the sort of trickle feed of the later Oscar nominations.
So what have we got coming up?
Jurassic
I'm sure. Are we
World.
done with Mad Max?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
done. It was a
Before
great film. Everyone
Let's
should see
go
it.
for a wrap up then.
Okay.
So what are we looking forward to?
We've got San Andreas and Jurassic World coming up.
Okay.
I've lost interest for Jurassic
You
World.
did
I've
say
got to be
that.
I've
honest.
definitely lost interest for Jurassic World.
Do you think that given
Yeah.
although we got
I think Age of Ultron suffered from that as well.
I don't
It got
think
way
I don't
overhyped.
think it did, because this is what I was going to say. I didn't see that many Ultron trailers at the cinema, whereas every time I've been to a film recently,
Yeah.
because of the age rating of it, Jurassic World has been
Yeah.
everywhere.
everywhere.
Every time, yeah. Ant-Man's
I haven't got Ant-Man on the list. I think that might be July.
It is
Is it
July. Spy is June. Isn't
Spy, Entourage, Mr. Holmes with Ian McKellen and Minions, which none of them are really.
Minions looks quite good.
Does it?
It'd be funny.
Yeah, but it's not like a sort of. It's not going to be a
I
Mad
don't think
Max,
it's a must
is it?
see.
Yeah,
No,
it's not
no.
a must see. It's on the same level as SpongeBob to me. It's like it'd be great if we saw it, but I really don't care. I'm glad we did see
What did I see a
SpongeBob.
poster? Oh, Fantastic Four. That's June.
quite a long way away.
No,
yeah.
that must be July as well because I went through and picked out all the June ones. May, we've still got Poltergeist, Tomorrowland, and Man Up coming out.
Tomorrowland. The new trailer for that
Yeah.
looked good.
Did you like
Actually-
the extended
The
IMAX?
film by the fucking look of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. As long as we don't see too much of it before it comes out.
Still, what's good is we've seen a lot, but we still have not a clue what it's about.
No.
A Land of Tomorrow, where anything is possible.
No, it's the world beyond, Alex.
Yeah, it's World Beyond.
The world
Stupid.
beyond.
That's the name of this podcast.
No, it's
The
not.
podcast Beyond.
No, it's not. We're sticking with
SpongeBob Squares.
No, ScreenHog Squarepants.
Can't we have
ScreenHog.
the one where Simon rants loads at two girls in the cinema?
No.
There's a really funny Rooster Teeth podcast when Jeff starts talking about two girls that annoyed him on a plane, and they were like, "Oh, tell us that plane story." Jeff, he's like, "Okay, these two fucking cunts." And I didn't. It was in my head while I was about to tell that story. I had to, suppress it.
Shocking. Alright, well, I think that's it, is it?
Yeah, we're
Paid free.
This is our longest podcast.
Oh, but once we've cut out all the shit,
Chop, chop, chop.
it'll be
Yeah.
back
Toilet
to normal.
breaks.
That's what normally happens.
Human
Yeah.
Centipede free.
What?
Human Centipede free is June the 19th.
Oh, shut
Yeah. Oh, and I've just had an alert. Apparently, there's going to be a prosecco shortage this year.
No.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Am I going to have to drink champagne?
It's time
Thanks
to
for
end.
joining us. Bye, everybody. Bye, Alex.
Bye.
I just want to say,
Oh, dear.
Ah.
our theme tune is by Hans Adam because we're supposed to reference it every time. It's the way we get it for free.
Hans Atom.
Thank you, Hans.
Atom as like ATOM?
Yes.
And Hans as in these things?
No, as in Hans.
Hans.
Yeah.
Hans Atom.
Yeah. I did reference him in the first 2 episodes, but because we haven't been putting the thing on the website, I haven't been. So.
Okay, so thank you, Hans Atom.
And
Does he have any other work?
Yeah, he's got loads. It's all
Yes,
free.
check him out.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So yeah, thanks for listening to ScreenHog episode 7.
Bye.